When Fidel goes down, and it could be any day now, no more his ugly face on Canal 23. When Fidel goes down to the bottom of the ocean, Thomas Garcia will stay. We'll have nothing left to say.
I'm dying over here.
When Fidel falls, I'll wager that even a stunt major will finally smoke decent cigars. And folks in Havana will rave when they trade in those pre-1958 cars. When Fidel goes down, El Diablo Comunista will make every day Monday through Sunday, or just like Sabido Gigante, no more his ugly face on Canal 23.
Oh, that Jim Schuyler, man, he was the best. You got to admit it. Not the best, but I mean, he was damn good.
Right. Maybe third best. Well, right after Bokamper and Guitar Man, of course,
right.
As far as local
and
talent.
KJ, fourth best. 10:02 at 560 WQM. Happy Monday, June 11th. Boy, am I in a good mood today. You want to know why? Because this is the week that is. Vacacion coming up, baby.
Oh,
it's getting close to vacation. Well, you know, you had your vacation for this year, so I guess you're screwed and tattooed. George is back.
One of those things.
Which we're happy to have you back, but boy, Josh Cordes sure gave us a lot of material last week.
I understand that. There were some of those faxes laying around when I came in here this morning.
And Bokamper gave us some good material, too, on Friday.
Yeah.
Him and
I heard
O.J.
that
McDuffie,
story.
who, let me say it again, does not belong on the air. Let me just make it very clear. It's got nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with the color of his skin. It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact he is not a broadcaster. But like I said, we got the jockocracy, and Jolly Joe Bell called me Friday at 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you know, you made a really good point. And I said, what was that? He said, well, he was telling me how dumb Bokamper was. And I said, oh, I know that. He didn't say how dull he was. But at any rate, he said, you made a really good point. And what was that? He said that Mandich and Joe Rose are the only two ex-jocks in the market who belong on the air. I said, yeah, well, anybody could tell that. You know. I mean, even George knows that. George, who knows nothing about sports, who hates spectator sports like poison, who hates people talking about it even 100 times worse. Even George could tell you that.
What?
And they're the only two people that get any numbers and have any sponsors and have any following. They're the only two ex-jocks. Most ex-jocks are inarticulate at best. Some are illiterate, and they don't belong on the radio or on television. I mean, is Shannon Sharp?
No.
No. That is Shannon Sharp, right, Chris? Not Sterling Sharp. I get him confused.
Yeah.
On the NFL. I mean,
yeah.
He can't speak. You know, I mean, obviously I'm nitpicking there. Why should somebody who's on talk and making sounds with their mouth be able to speak, you know? But nevertheless. So anyway, I got the call from Jolly Joe on Friday at 2 telling me, oh, well, Bokamper's, I'm going to talk to him. And then he winds up giving him my number. Gives him my phone number. Now, I don't know about you. George and I have discussed this many times over the years. I would say
about 30, man.
About 30,000 times. I'm not one of those people that's big on somebody giving my phone number to anybody else unless they ask, you know.
Right.
If Joe would have said to me, would it be okay if I gave Bokamper your phone number, your cell phone number, so that he could call you and apologize and yada, 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 I would have probably said,
no.
I don't know what I would have said.
You would have said no.
Oh. But he went ahead and did it anyway.
Well, you would have said no, thank you.
Nice morning at Woodbine Saturday morning. Oh! What a couple of grand. Come home, and all of a sudden my thing starts vibrating in my BlackBerry 2. It's a phone call. And I look at the number. It didn't look familiar to me. And I said, hello, and it's Kim Bokamper on the phone, apologizing, and going on and on. And well, he asked a couple other people. Let me tell you right now who the people in the woodpile are, okay? I didn't even want to say what word in the woodpile. That Toast, he'll be Toast pretty soon, just like that show will be very soon. See, O.J. McDuffie didn't hear it. Because he couldn't have heard it because I didn't say the C word. I didn't say coon on the air. And I said to Bokamper, I said, we've worked like probably 10, 15 years together. Do you really think that I would call somebody that on the air? Well, I didn't hear it myself, but I asked a couple other people. You know, a couple other people, meaning Toast, number one, and Robert, who told us that he didn't hear it, and he couldn't have heard it because I didn't say it. And then come to find out he's one of the people who claimed, oh, yeah, I heard it. According to certain people. I mean, it's like a kindergarten, like kids in a sandbox. Childish. The only problem being that, it's my livelihood that's sitting in the balance there. It might be childish to them, but it's my livelihood sitting in the balance of my credibility. Let me say it again. What I said is we are doomed. We are doomed. If we continue putting people who don't belong on the air, we are doomed.
What word did you say?
That's it. Anyway, here's the poll from, there's no point in carrying on about it because I said I accepted his apology, which at the moment, I would say anything to get him off the phone because he was going on and on about how O.J.'s a good friend of mine and he did me a big favor because Kenny bailed out the last minute. We had to have somebody come in. But, well, you know something? If that's the best we can do, then we ought to shut the damn thing down several hours a day. Wouldn't you think we'd have some other people in reserve that we could put on? Some real broadcasters like maybe the Crow or
You're not
Larry
seriously
Marquez?
asking that question out loud, are you?
No, I'm not.
If they talk sports, they're good. Period.
Not.
Well, you're
Here's
wrong.
the poll on Friday. This was kind of amusing. Gave him a chance to take a real good shot at me. That's okay. That seems to be the deal now before I get my nice summer schedule coming up and my 9 days vacation. All right. And when I come back from vacation, it is the summer schedule. George, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We ought to have Eric put that up like he does every summer on the website so people know what's going on. And they know they can tune in for George, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Then Tuesday and Thursday, I'll be around. I'll be here. Just to, just for the hell of it. Actually, I should demand that I get the whole summer off. That's the way it was the first couple of years, remember?
Yeah, and tapes, though.
It was tapes?
It was me and tapes. And the reason that we got those good numbers, like remember that first summer we had an 8.2, was because of the tapes. That's what Craig said. And that's what Bill Tanner said.
What?
Yes.
Well, you're not Tanner's type.
I know.
Or my type.
I know, and I'm an adult.
Matching a face to the voice, the first time I saw what Neil looked like, blank. 1,802 votes over the weekend. He looked just how I imagined he would, 474. Well, I'm so pleased. He looked worse than what I imagined, 321. I laughed, 292. He looked better than what I imagined, 146. And here's this could be my favorite choice on any poll we've ever done. I was horrified, 143. I was horrified.
Mm-hmm.
I was mesmerized, 142, which I think is equally ludicrous. I was pleasantly impressed, 86. Well, easy to impress, I guess. I was smitten, 69. Uh-oh. I still have no clue what he looks like, 65, and I was disappointed, 64. I'm so sorry to disappoint. And those idiots who say, I still have no idea what he looks like I said on Friday, how is that possible that you're voting on our website and there's like 6,000 pictures of me on there and they still don't have any idea what I look like? Believe me, don't look at him. You don't want to know. So there's the result. We're doing a Fidel. That's why I played that Schuyler thing at the start today. We're doing a Fidel poll. Now, here's Charlie B., who last week all of a sudden became, I guess Charlie wants to be a major character on the show, not just a poll guy, which there's a couple of other polls he sent in today. Thanks, Charlie. You're okay in my book. But now he's a regular chronic on MySpace, and he sent this in this morning. 10 other things O.J. and Bokamper thought Neil said before they settled on Coon. This is from Charlie B. To the moon, Alice, to the moon. Name that tune. See you real soon. Vroom, vroom. Look, Norman, the loons. I dropped a spittoon in my room. It'd go boom. I sure love that summer schedule in June. Amen to that. That Bing Crosby sure could croon. I think I'm going to swoon. And zoom, zoom, zoom.
He went on rhymezone.com. He's not fooling me.
Did he?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Now you're picking on Charlie.
You know I love Charlie.
He had a war with Josh.
Where would we be without him?
He'll send in some nasty stuff on MySpace and get right in your face if you don't
watch it.
Hey,
we're buds.
Yeah, are you really?
No.
No.
I appreciate it, though.
Here's the poll for today. The way it was going this morning, I didn't think we'd get to 1,000, Chris.
You got to stop worrying about that.
And it's that time of the year now. It's definitely dog days now. A lot of people gone on vacation and stuff like that. Even though George's close personal friend Brandon, who hates Josh like crazy, he's another one. He's on vacation, but he's on he's IMing this morning already. So, it goes to show you they can't stay away. At least some can't stay away. When Fidel finally dies, blank. 707 on there. I'm not Cuban. I couldn't care less. 492. That's almost 70%. Not Cuban. Couldn't care less about Fidel. If he croaks, if he lives, if he has a bad bowel movement, we don't care. 492. I'm Cuban and I couldn't care less. 44. I'll start packing for a visit to Cuba, 37. I'll be so grief-stricken, how will I ever go on, 25. See, one good thing about Charlie's poll today, the choices, just to read the poll takes about a half an hour, so that's good. I'll read it 4 times and go home. I'll light a Cuban cigar, 23. That's what I voted. Of course, I can light one any day I want anyhow because I can buy all the Cuban cigars and any other kind of cigars right here. I'll drink a Cuban cafecito or eat a Cuban sandwich, 19. A cafecito? Is that like a little...
That's right, little coffee. Like the espresso.
I see. I'll set a dumpster or some tires on fire, 18. Hell, I'll put the house up for sale and move to Cuba, 11. I'll play a Celia Cruz CD, 10. I'll stop my car in the middle of a bridge, 9. I'll join a street procession and blow my horn constantly, 7. I'll fire a gun into the air, 6. Solamente 6. I'll burn an effigy of Fidel, 3. And I'll fly a Cuban flag, 3. Oh, enough of that with a Cuban flag already, please. That gets a lot of people very angry, very fired up and pissed off. So we got 716 votes on today's poll. We'll get to 1,000, Chris. Don't sweat it. Here's the schedule for today. Too bad that morning show's going off pretty soon. Mad Dog at the Finn's Golf Tourney at 2. Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog 4 to 5. By the way, Hank was taking up a big part of my screen from the Belmont on Saturday. That was one of the great races I've ever seen in my life. And I'm sitting here and these two, I'm talking to two people that don't even know who's in the race. Am I right?
I knew that one of them was. And there was some female.
But you didn't watch it, though.
No.
And George, he would go out of his way not to watch it. That's one of the best horse races I've ever seen in my life. And the filly won, Rags to Riches, edges out Curl in the stretch in a thrilling stretch duel. Probably the best since between Affirmed and Aladar way back in 78.
That's like saying that's the most exciting patch of grass I ever watched grow.
It was a great horse race, okay? And next time Dave Johnson calls in, which he didn't call Friday, and that's somebody's fault. Not
probably mine.
Probably George's fault. But at any rate, it was a great horse race. And then Hank got really surly and testy with the goofball host. I can't think of what that guy's name is who was hosting on ESPN. He's really boring. But at any rate, he was saying, oh, well, the horse that wanted it more won the race. And Hank said, I don't buy that horse that wanted more. You know, she was getting 5 pounds allowance and blah, blah, blah. Attaboy, Humper. Stick it to him, baby. and lose an ounce or two while you're at it.
That was funny.
Anyway, he'll be on with the Mad Dog with the Power Hour at 4. Hank Solo, 5 to 7. Dolphins all assets, 7 to 9. And then Game Night with Eddie K at 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. MONDAYSUCKS.
I was attacked by the Pokemon. He went and maimed my friend Punjab. Oh no, I don't feel safe in India. Oh, I'd rather be in New York and drive a cab. Thank you, my friend. Oh, thank you, my friend.
10:18 at 560 WQAM. So that whole episode from Friday, as far as I'm concerned, it is what it is, you know. When you're dealing with people who are like that. But I'm glad that Kimba saved his on-air apology for right there at the ass end of the show, you know. Whatever that means. I guess that was so that I would hear it for sure, you know. He already went on Saturday on my cell phone, on and on, and I, you know, and I said, okay, apology accepted, Kim, and I should have said, bye, click, you know, like that. It's just pathetic that there's a fraternity of ex-jocks, most of whom have a collective IQ you could put into a thimble and have room for the Chinese army left over. And it's very sad. It's what Cosell many years ago called the jockocracy. And these are the people that have taken over broadcasting anything that might even remotely have to do with sports and some things that don't even have to do with sports. But nevertheless, what could be more important? Who could be more of an expert on anything in the world than somebody who once wore a jockstrap and took naked showers with a bunch of other guys? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're an expert on something.
And then, of course, you know, he didn't even get into I didn't even raise the issue of all the homophobic comments about I'm hiding, you know, in Toronto, and he challenges me to come down there and say it right to O.J.'s face and say what I said. You know, of course, yeah, I'd be more than happy to say that we're doomed or anything else that I said to anybody's face. And the suggestion that I say stuff because I'm doing the show from Toronto that I wouldn't say down there, I mean, it's just ludicrous. Is the show any different? Do I say any different kinds of things about people here than I would there? No.
Well, you say a boot and a lot now.
Yeah, right. Up yours, eh? This is a really interesting story, speaking of people and things and animals that get around. A basset hound that disappeared from its California home in December has been found 430 miles away in Arizona. The dog, named Fred, was found by an employee Wednesday in the parking lot of the Second Chance Center for Animals in Flagstaff. The next morning, maybe he was hitchhiking. The next morning, staff members with the shelter found a microchip in Fred that let them figure out he was registered at the Riverside County Animal Control. The shelter contacted Fred's speechless owner on Friday. He was speechless. Just like I was almost speechless when I heard people accusing me of calling somebody a coon on the radio. You know, the only time I ever use that word, when we talk about stupid expressions, I've said, how about the thing about haven't heard from so-and-so in a coon's age, which has nothing to do with race, by the way. I don't really know what it does have to do with. It's just a stupid expression. Right?
Yeah, it's a southern thing, I reckon.
Is that what it is? A southern thing?
I hear it in the same.
Oh, then I'll get accused of saying a thang again, too. Yeah, I said thang. The owner said Fred disappeared after she moved to Riverside in December. She didn't know how he could have ended up in Flagstaff. Like I said, he may have been hitching a ride. Like with Vanity Fair, hitching a ride. I got that here somewhere, but I don't want to hear it. I don't like that song. Paul Fink, a veterinarian at the Flagstaff shelter, and a pilot has offered to fly the dog home to his family. Wasn't that nice of him?
Mighty white of him.
Oh, there it is, hitching a ride. Vanity Fair and a medley of their big smash.
Gonna get the year?
I would like to bust this record into a million pieces. Excellent talk-up by the two of us, by the way. That's an easy one. You can't talk that song up. You can't talk no song up. Hitching a ride. Okay, that's enough of that crap. 741 on the poll. I think you're pretty safe with 1,000 today. Ordinarily at this time of the show with a pretty mediocre number like that, I'd say, I don't know.
No, we got this one.
We got it in the bag. It's in the sack. It's in the box. So neither one of you saw that race on Saturday. Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's something. Well, what do you mean, yeah, I'm sure? It was a great horse race, man. Here's the filly on the outside and the heavily favored colt along the rail, and they're down the stretch. They come, as Dave would say, nose to nose, and the filly pulls away, wins by, well, didn't pull away, but stuck ahead in front of the wire and wins the race. And I don't give a crap that she was carrying 5 less pounds. She stumbled coming out of the gate. She gave him a several-length handicap right at the beginning and still circled the field and won in a dramatic stretch run. It was a great Belmont, thank God. And by the way, Brent Mousberger, you don't look a day over 100. Boy, he's looking really long in the tooth. That was one of the worst telecasts I have ever seen of a Triple Crown race in my life. It sucked. The microphones kept malfunctioning, and it blew, man. It was almost like Joyce. It blows. With a thunderous rumble and a cloud of dust and smoke, it's the Lone Ranger. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's nothing funny about this. It's more dead soldiers. A suicide car bomb brought down a section of a highway bridge south of Baghdad yesterday, killing 3 more U.S. soldiers and wounding 6 from a checkpoint guarding the crossing and blocking traffic on Iraq's main north-south artery. That brings the total of dead American soldiers to 3,509. 3,509. And the number keeps going up in chunks. It just keeps going up, more and more and more. And people are rioting in the streets. No. Anybody all whipped up to a frenzy. No. What does that have to do with Paris Hilton, in the terrible way that they dragged her off in handcuffs and her screaming and carrying on like a petulant child. Mama, mama. What a nasty, needle-nosed bitch. And you people in the media, what have I told you for a long time? This is the reason that the world is in the shape it is today, because of the American media.
The media is sick and needs help badly.
Absolutely correct, the bitch. It's pathetic. And Brian Williams writes in the blog, they were talking about this the other day, on his personal blog. Well, we're not going to be talking about Paris Hilton on NBC News tonight, that's for sure. And the second or third story on NBC News that very evening was Paris Hilton taken back to jail. Why should anybody care about that bitch? They made such a chimness about it on Friday. It looked just like the O.J. thing all over again. And the paparazzi are there all over that sheriff's car. They're all over it like Stink on Joyce. And they're racing up the road after it. And with cameras, they're following the car. Oh, Paris Hilton is handcuffed inside that car. Yeah, who cares? Fry her ass, for all I care. Now, here's somebody that belongs in the slammer. This story just makes me want to gag. I don't want to get you depressed. Although George is going to do at least 2 hours on the Sopranos finale. I have that story.
Oh, yeah. Let me know when.
Well, see, you've been watching that all along. Thank God I never got into it, because then I'd have been all whipped up, too, about how crappy they ended it.
I'm going to kill somebody.
All upset, like you. And I'm not the least bit upset. I'm a happy camper this morning.
Yeah, well, look at that.
Had a good day at Woodbine Saturday morning. Then I had that nice call from Kimba Bokamper. I should have said, hey, Kim, how'd you get this phone number of my BlackBerry, my cell phone? Kim. Oh, well, I think Joe Bell gave it to me. Joe, quit giving out my phone number, okay, to, like, Dumbos or anybody else. Port St. Lucie, and by the way, Greg in Port St. Lucie, who sent that long fax. Remember, Chris, he sent the fax on Friday?
Yes.
Then he sent an application to be a friend request on MySpace. It got turned down so fast by yours truly, you couldn't even blink. In a heartbeat. I found that no button. Reject, deny, decline, bye-bye. Go away, Greg in Port St. Lucie. A 10-year-old boy reportedly weighing only 35 pounds was taken for medical treatment after being found knocking on doors Saturday evening asking for food. This, by the way, is a Haitian family.
I see.
Well, they're used, I guess a lot of the Haitian people are used to not, living on too much food. The boy's mother, 37-year-old Colleen Dion Murray Auguste of the 900 block, it doesn't make any difference what the address is, was arrested on a charge of felony child neglect. The State Department of Children and Families took custody of the 6 other minor children in the home, according to the Port St. Lucie police. Auguste is being held at the St. Lucie County Jail on $150,000 bail. The 10-year-old's weight is less than half the normal weight of a boy his age, according to stats from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. None of the other children appeared to be malnourished, police spokesman Robert Vega said. Maybe they just didn't like him. All the kids were on the slender side, but none of the kids appeared to be malnourished to us, said Vega, who added the children reportedly were homeschooled. He said Auguste, who is pregnant, has a total of 9 children, so number 10 is in the oven. According to Vega, about 7:30 p.m. Saturday, a woman in the 900 block of Southwest Cornelia Avenue answered a knock on her door to find a young boy asking for food. The boy was filthy and disheveled with matted hair. The woman started feeding the boy, then called 911. The boy allegedly climbed out of a window at Auguste's home and went to throughout the neighborhood looking for food. Vega said when officers spoke to the boy, he told them different stories, including he'd been living in the woods and backyard, and that his name was Mike Tyson. Oh, wow. Based on his dehydrated and malnourished condition, the officers called an ambulance, and the boy was transported to the St. Lucie Medical Center and then taken to hospital in Palm Beach County. In the meantime, police received a call from Auguste saying her 10-year-old kid was missing. The officer who responded to that call informed Auguste that her boy was in the hospital. The officer said he found no food in the refrigerator, freezer, or pantry of the home. The home was reportedly clean but had little furniture and no food. Kind of like Hank's house. That slim thing ain't working for him, though. According to Vega, the mother said the extremely thin boy had been living in Haiti with his father, who dropped him off at her house in that condition about 4 weeks earlier. Auguste reportedly said the boy hadn't been able to hold any food down since that time. The officer said Auguste, who reportedly has no medical insurance, did not seek medical attention for the boy. She's being held at the St. Lucie County Jail. Like I said, $150,000 bond. Ought to stick her ass in there with the Paris. Don't you think?
Amen.
Brother. 10-year-old kid weighs 35 pounds. See, one thing about people, anybody can make babies.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can make a baby. Unless, of course, they're
gay.
Well, in that case. And even that, look how it worked out for Rosie and that dyke friend of hers. They're making babies. And for what? Lynn Cheney's kid. What's Mary Cheney? I left out Dick Cheney because his pacemaker be on. He needs a new battery. So we got the alert out for Sally Fitz. If we can find Sally, we can probably find some batteries.
Beware of exploding balls.
Jose, can you see my coyote's flashlight? Cross the border today as the Minutemen were shooting. Drove 10 guys in one car through the desert all night. To the protest we marched, but they just thought we were looting. And the farms were all bare, the fruit waiting for us there. Give us amnesty rights, and we'll pay our fair they does not understand the English you say. Give a break to him and me, or we send another wave.
10:34, 26 before 11. Yeah, adios, arrivederci, etc., and so on. So anyway, I guess we got to get to the Sopranos.
Okay.
Vince Horiuchi in the Salt Lake Tribune's got one of the best articles on it. Now, of course, I have no opinion because I never watched it from the beginning. And even Chicken Neck, remember he sent me all the episodes? This was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. That's how I got started. He said, this is great, you got to watch it. He gave me the whole first season.
And I tried watching the first one, and I watched it for about 10, 15 minutes, and I thought, oh, this is really weak.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like it. Okay, I mean, you're saying, like sarcastically. I didn't like it. And I'm glad I didn't like it, because I would have hated to have invested all that time and then come to last night with the finale and gotten the big letdown. And what I'm hearing, the spy reports from Brandon and others, is that within minutes after it ended, all the message boards and all the internet was just awash with hysteria and pissed offness from viewers.
The page shills are making all the rounds saying, oh, there was mixed feelings. There were no mixed feelings at all. At all.
Really?
Yeah, everyone hated it.
Pissed off and fired
everyone. Death.
Oh, here's another poll. Now, let's see. It says, lots of time and research went into this one. The most underrated 70s-era rock band. Paul in Syracuse sent this in. Well, thanks, Paul. I'll take a look at it in a minute. So anyway, this is the article by Vince Horiuchi in the Salt Lake Tribune. He says, warning, this review of the final episode is flooded with spoilers. If you haven't seen the series finale broadcast last night, don't read it. Oh, okay. Thanks, Vince. Well, listen to it, and then you'll find, gee, you are so...
There would have to have been something to spoil for the spoilers to spoil anything.
It says, in the end, there was no end.
That's it.
After weeks of desperate speculation about how one of television's greatest dramas was going to conclude its six-season run, it turns out The Sopranos was neither going to go out with a bang or a whimper, just going out like thin air. But the finale broadcast Sunday night on HBO will have fans talking for weeks. The tumultuous life of New Jersey mobster Tony Soprano has involved countless mafia killings, backstabbings, political maneuvering, and unsuspected family deaths. Would he get whacked? Would one of his children be gunned down? Would he go into the Federal Witness Protection Program, or would he simply go to jail? As if a gag leveled at the viewers, creator David Chase finally answered Sunday night, all of them or none of them. What he gave viewers was an almost existential yet anxiety-drenched last scene that surely had Sopranos fans collectively blurting out at the end, what the, insert your favorite expletive here, what the...
Yeah, we said it loudly and frequently.
In the last several episodes, a war had been brewing between Tony's New Jersey crew and New York mob run by Phil Leotardo. Leotardo's gangsters already had gunned down longtime Soprano Captain Bobby and put Tony's consigliere Silvio in a coma from another shooting. In return, Tony's men finally tracked down Leotardo and shot him and killed him for revenge. Leotardo sounds like something you wear. In fact, I got some on under my skirt.
Always, right?
Now, as viewers would fear, comes Tony's retribution. In the last scene, he arrives at a diner where he's supposed to meet his family. Then Carmela arrives, then son AJ. The camera cuts to several suspicious men walking into the diner. Are they Leotardo hitmen? FBI agents waiting to arrest Tony? The strains of Steve Perry's voices are heard on the jukebox singing Journey's Don't Stop Believin'. Focus on Tony's face. Don't stop echoes on the soundtrack. Then cut to black. The end credits roll.
I'm sure they thought they were very clever.
Can I finish this, or are you going to
if you must.
keep interjecting?
All right.
It's almost over if I can get there, you know. We only got like 3 hours and 22 minutes, but who's counting? No early Marlin games this week, damn it. Christ. The ending was so abrupt and anticlimactic, many Internet posters thought their cable went out. So did I, writes Vince Horiuchi. This was the Andy Kaufman of series finales, wrote one poster on the Television Without Pity forums. We, the audience, were just played for David Chase's amusement.
Mm-hmm.
Many will see it as nothing but Chase's cruel and self-indulgent joke on the fans' expectations, but it's not just that. It's a final scene that also says Tony's future will always be looking over his shoulder. It'll be about looking over his shoulder. We're all thinking about those men in the diner. They were hitmen out to kill Tony, but remember, gangsters always say when they're about to get whacked, they'll never know what's coming. And to creator David Chase's credit, this certainly was an ending we never saw coming. Well, the article was pretty good until we got to the last...
That's like somebody punching you in the back of the head and saying, hey, look on the bright side. You didn't expect it.
Yeah. And boy, it didn't feel that bad. I'm still alive. Like I said, I thought that was a pretty good article, and then it was till the last two sentences. It was okay.
They always have to make excuses. There is no excuse for what they did to us last night.
Inexcusable, unacceptable. I'm sure glad I never got into the series. I never watched it. I don't know nothing about it. I don't want to know except the bada bing, all the, it's Godfather wannabe is what I saw in there. Godfather wannabe, Goodfellas wannabe, something wannabe.
Well, Goodfellas wannabe maybe, yeah, but
a what?
Goodfellas wannabe maybe, yeah. It was more similar to that than the Godfather.
Now, what was it Hoffa? That Hoffa was the one where the scene was in the diner. Remember that?
No.
With Joe Pesci.
Okay.
Wasn't it Joe Pesci was in Hoffa?
He was in it, yeah.
Yeah. And they had a scene in the diner. Why there always have to be a scene in the diner? And then what's his name when he was going to go get whacked in the Goodfellas? Weren't they in a diner? When De Niro was going to go and turned out he got whacked. He thought he was going to get made, and he got made dead. I don't know.
Right. I thought that was Joe Pesci, too.
Oh, yeah, it was Joe Pesci. That's right. Well, I don't know. To me, they're interchangeable at this point in those movies. Once you get past Godfather, and there were some other good mob movies, although we got somebody's poll. I forget whose it is in my big pile of polls here about the best mob movie other than The Godfather. I guess it surely had to be Charlie B, didn't it? Yes. I can't find it, but it's in here somewhere. I'm still too obsessed with it. I looked worse than they were horrified. When they saw what I looked like, they were horrified. Is it just me, or don't you find that somewhat amusing?
It's very amusing, and I don't think anybody was genuine when they voted that. It's just funny thing.
No, they were horrified.
Yeah,
oh, my
right.
God. You call that a human?
Yeah.
You call that a Toastmaster or something like that?
You can't live in South Florida and be horrified by your face.
Oh, that's true. I never thought about that. I live in a place where there's like a lot of really beautiful people. Like at Woodbine over the weekend. Oh, man. I'm getting really bad in my old age now. It's just, like they say in the telephone company spots, reach out and touch somebody, and then for the phone directory. Whatever.
That is Yellow Pages.
Reach out, for the Yellow Pages. Reach out and touch someone, and that's what I want to increasingly do. You just can't do that in a public place like that. Reach out and just grab somebody, or give them a pat on the shoulder and give them a big kiss and a hug, and like that.
Yeah! Ain't ready. What's up, y'all? This your boy D Mike. You see, I usually do songs with like hooks and concepts and shit, right? But that, man, I'm trying to go platinum. So I'm about to rock this. Check this out, y'all. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O-O-K. 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 Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah. Not a sports page.
discuss that on Friday. Hopefully something a little deeper than the Dolphin Playbook would be a good idea. 10:48, 12 minutes before 11 at 560 WQAM. Man, do I sound all pumped up today, and I wonder why.
Why?
I don't know. Just for the hell of it. 806 on your poll, Chris. He'll make 1,000 easy today.
Yep.
Even though it's the 11th, El Once de Julio. Maureen Dowd says, outing the out of touch. Be honest, who would you rather share a foxhole with, a gay soldier or Mitt Romney? A gay soldier, of course. In a dicey situation like that, you need someone steadfast who knows who he is and what he believes, even if he's not allowed to say it out loud. Hypocrisy is the homage vice pays to virtue, as the gloriously gay Oscar Wilde said, and gays are the sacrifice that hypocritical Republican candidates offer to placate values voters, even though some candidates are not so finicky about morals regarding their own affairs and divorces. They may coo over the photo of Dick Cheney, whose re-election campaign demonized gays, proudly smiling with his new grandson, the first baby of his lesbian daughter Mary. But they'll hold the line by Jiminy against gay Americans who are willing to die or be horribly disfigured in the cursed Bush-Cheney war in Iraq. Peter Pace, whose job as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff became a casualty of Iraq on Friday, asserted in March that homosexual acts are immoral. Yet in May, he wrote a letter to the judge in the Scooter Libby case pleading for leniency for the Cheney aid. Scooter always looked for the right way to proceed, both legally and morally, General Peace wrote, of the man who lied to a grand jury about the outing of a spy after he pumped up the fake case for the war that's claimed the lives of 3,500 young men and women serving under the general. At the GOP debate in New Hampshire last week, the contenders were more homophobic than the mobsters on The Sopranos, unanimously supporting the inane don't ask, don't tell policy. Even Rudy Giuliani, who loves to cross-dress and who stayed with old friends, a gay couple, to avoid Gracie Mansion when a second marriage was disintegrating, had an antediluvian answer. There she goes again. Wolf Blitzer asked him about the Arabic linguist trained by the government who have been ousted from the military after being outed. Mr. Giuliani, who procured 3 deferments to avoid Vietnam, replied that with the war in Iraq raging, this is not the time to deal with disruptive issues like that. If he's so concerned with disruptive issues, maybe he should start worrying about this one. 2 straight guys who slithered out of going to Vietnam are devising a losing strategy in Iraq year after year. W and Cheney have fouled things up so badly that Robert Gates and Tony Snow are now pointing to South Korea, where American troops have stayed for over half a century as a model. Mitt Romney agreed with Rudy on the issue. Instead of going to Vietnam, Mr. Romney spent 2.5 years doing Mormon missionary work in France. Isn't that like doing Peace Corps work in Monte Carlo? At the memorial for Mark Bingham, the gay 6'5" rugby player who was on Flight 93 on 9/11, John McCain said he might owe his life to the young man who helped fight the hijackers, bringing down the plane aiming to crash into the Capitol. But Senator McCain wants gay troops to stay closeted. The policy, he said, is working, but it's not. The army in Iraq is like that exhausted nag Scarlett O'Hara whipped onto Tara. Yet Republicans surge on even as they expel gays. In a Times op-ed piece Friday, Stephen Benjamin, a gay Arabic translator eager to go to Iraq, told how he was dismissed when the Navy learned his status. Consider, he wrote, more than 58 Arab linguists have been kicked out since Don't Ask, Don't Tell was instituted. How much valuable intelligence could those men and women be providing to troops in harm's way? He noted that 11,000 other service members have been shoved out since 1993 and speculated that if the Army hadn't been so short of Arabic translators, the cables that went untranslated on September 10th might have been translated, preventing 9/11. In 2000, the British military began letting anyone who served say if they were a poof, as one squadron leader put it. Sarah Lyle wrote in the Times that the military reports that none of its fears about harassment, discord, blackmail, bullying, or an erosion of unit cohesion or military effectiveness have come to pass. Poof or no poof. America has been will and grace since Bill Clinton had his kerfuffle on the issue in '93. Tolerance has blossomed, especially among younger Americans. According to a Pew poll, 4 in 10 Americans say they have close friends or relatives who are gay. The Republican field seems stale and out of sync. They should have listened to the inimitable Barry Goldwater, who told it true. You don't have to be straight to shoot straight. That's what Peter North said, too, I heard. And I got that one video of his. But that's another story for another day. We don't want to go too deeply into that, although he did. Okay, let's see how this poll is coming. What was that word she used in there? I don't know what it was.
Poof?
Diluvian.
Oh.
814 votes on this fairly marginal poll, but I like it, Charlie, because it's got a lot of words and it takes at least a half hour to read it. When Fidel finally dies...
I hear he's dead.
When Fidel finally dies, I'm not Cuban, couldn't care less, 560, overwhelming majority, Charlie. 68.7%. They're not Cuban and they couldn't care less. They don't care. People who aren't Cuban don't care about Fidel. I know that's, you think if you're Nicaraguan you care about Fidel? Maybe Venezuela.
Well, you should. Why do you think all these Cubans are over here?
I'm Cuban and couldn't care less, 48. Don't start, like Al Sharpton told Don Imus, don't start attacking your own people.
What?
For those cracker jokes. By the way, Al Sharpton's going to be coming in and do midday starting on my vacation time. Just to make up for that coon thing that never happened.
Oh.
I'm Cuban and couldn't care less, 48. I'll start packing for a visit to Cuba, 47. I'll be so grief-stricken. How will I ever go on, 34? I'll light a Cuban cigar, 27. I wonder where they're going to stick it.
Rectum.
Be sure and light the right end now. Talking about really being smoking. I'll drink a Cuban cafecito or eat a Cuban sandwich, 23. A medianoche. Isn't that a Cuban sandwich?
Yes.
Those are pretty good, by the way.
Yes.
Especially if you heat them up and you melt the cheese.
Ooh, they got to be flattened with that iron and lightly toasted.
That's correct. I'll set a dumpster or some tires on fire, 19. Hey, I'll put the house up for sale and move to Cuba, 13. Good, we'll pack you a Guayabera and a medianoche. I'll play a Celia Cruz CD, 11. I'll stop my car in the middle of a bridge, 11. Wouldn't be the first time. I'll join a street procession and blow my horn constantly, 9. I'll fire a gun up into the air, 6. I'll burn an effigy of Fidel, 4. And I'll fly a Cuban flag, solamente 3. So I guess maybe people have learned that's not a really good idea. Flying that Cuban flag, you know? Although I guess there are probably still a whole bunch of them hanging down from rearview mirrors. Am I right?
I reckon in certain parts.
But you know how out of touch I am.
I know.
I'm very proud of that, too, as a matter of fact. Oh, you're out of touch, Neil.
Hiya, Pally.
Hiya, Pally. I told George about the fact that imbecile called on Friday. I'm gone, Neil. I gave you up for a year and a half, and I haven't listened. I don't call. Right. Mm-hmm. All the chronics, the one thing you can bet your life on, as long as I'm still alive making sounds with my mouth on the air, they will be there with the radio turned way up loud, getting good vibrations. You can be damn sure of that. And you want to know why?
I have no life.
That's the reason. Oh, that was a little...
I have no life.
There you go. Thank you.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
We're on our way to Brooklyn. I hope Mike can get us a good deal tonight. Sure he will. Sal, Tom, the boss says he'll come in a separate car. He says for you two to go on ahead. Hell, he can't do that. It screws up all my arrangements. Well, that's what he said. I can't go either, Sal. Tell Mike it was only business. I always liked him. He understands that. Excuse me, Sal. Huh? Tom, can you get me off the hook? For old time's sake. Can't do it, Sally.
Joyce the bitch should get fired. Oh! Joyce the bitch should get fired.
About 30, man.
How the hell did she get hired? Joyce the bitch should get fired.
Absolutely.
A highly respected corporate lawyer. So she may say, but she ain't. Here's a bitch who don't have a clue on what she's doing, but somehow she tickles their taint. Just like an eight. Joyce the bitch should get fired. Joyce the bitch should get fired. How did that dumb broad get hired? Joyce the bitch should get fired. The sourpuss holds up with both. Sticks her ass where her nose should not go.
Rectum.
You don't belong here. Get a teaching job at Regis and stop destroying our show. Cheap blow.
Oh.
Joyce the bitch should get fired. Cheap blow. Joyce the bitch should get fired. Cheap blow. How in the hell did she get hired? Cheap blow. Joyce the bitch should get fired. What at QAM? Joyce the bitch should get fired. She blow. Joyce the bitch should get fired. She blow. How did that dumb broad get hired? She blow. Joyce the bitch should get fired.
It's 11:02 at 560. I didn't want to step on that last thing there.
I understand. I almost got the words of that song down.
Do you?
One more time.
Guess what's going to happen on Friday? Besides the fact you're going to be on, I'm going to be on vacation already.
I don't know.
Bob Barker's last show. They taped it last Wednesday.
Whatever,
Bob Barker's last show, and The Price is Right. Oh man.
And they're going to replace him.
I better move my vacation back. What do you think?
No.
Not.
I'll tape it for you.
Don't you think?
Who win that?
It's beautiful flatware.
Take your flatware and stick it, okay? Beautiful. Look at this, some young punk. He's worried about flatware, that kid.
Right.
He's worried about getting laid is all he cares about. Well, maybe he can, like, prize some, just a young beauty with some nice flatware, you think? No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, brother. Anyway, let's get back to the show, okay? We don't want to get sidetracked with The Price is Right again. We went through a whole song and a dance about that last week. And basically what they said is he taped the last show, and it was just an ordinary show. And he said at the end of the show, be sure and have your pets spayed or neutered, and blah, and bye-bye, everybody, and that was it. You know, kind of a crappy ending, but at least I guess there's an ending. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For a show that's been on for 500 years, as opposed to The Sopranos, which there wasn't any ending. And George is pretty pedo.
Everyone is.
Yeah. I'm not, because I never watched it.
No, everyone who watches it. Or used to, right?
And it'll get solved in the movie.
What?
It'll be solved in the movie.
Oh, there's going to be a
movie? Yeah, if you think I'm going to drop a dime into that man's pocket after what he did.
Yeah. Chase this, David.
That's right. Chase this dime down the road.
You fairy.
So I can run you over with my car while you're chasing it.
Speaking of people that we'd like to run over, Senator Drew Lieberman on CBS's Face the Nation yesterday morning laid out a case for the U.S. taking military action against Iran. It would be nice if they had a padded cell for him and John McCain. The two of them would be a match made in purgatory, man. They both belong in there together. And they could do a duet. Ba 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 ba. Can you just hear it now?
Sure.
And Drew Lieberman could put on his, the tzitzis and the yarmulke and the whole deal, the full regalia. Iraq is now the main front of the long war we're fighting against the Islamist terrorists who attacked us on 9/11. I thought they were Saudis. In fact, 90% of the suicide bombers in Iraq today killing Iraqis and American soldiers are foreign al-Qaeda fighters. I thought they weren't there when Saddam was in. Iran is training and equipping soldiers, Iraqis, to come in and kill American soldiers and Iraqis, said Drew Lieberman. Host Bob Schieffer then asked Lieberman what the U.S. should do about Iran. Lieberman said that Iran is at war with the U.S. and that the moderates... Doesn't make any sense. I see. They're at war with the U.S. and the moderates, and that while he supports sitting down and talking with the Iranian government, that might not be enough. If we're going to sit and talk with the Iranians, tell them what we want them to do, which is to stop doing that because it's killing Americans. We can't leave it at that. I think we have to be prepared to take aggressive military action against the Iranians to stop them from killing Americans in Iraq, he said. To me, that would include a strike over the border into Iran, where we have good evidence they have a base at which they're training these people coming back into Iraq to kill our soldiers. Let's just stop right there, Schieffer said. You're saying that if the Iranians don't let up, that the United States should take military action. I am, replied Lieberman. If they don't play by the rules, we've got to use our force, and to me that would include taking military action to stop them from doing what they're doing. The Farbisson, the hawkish, the lunatic Drew Lieberman. And now, guess who writes an article about him?
What's his name? Doug Thompson.
Right, good guess. Now that I told you. Nuke 'em till they glow, shoot 'em in the dark. That's the headline from Doug Thompson's ranting piece today. He's pissed off. As usual, you keep being pissed off, Doug. We like it. Senator Drew Lieberman wants to bomb Iran back into the Stone Age. He says, stupid idea. Osama bin Laden lives in a cave, and look at the trouble he can cause from there. Turning a militant nation like Iran into cavemen and women might create another primitive fighting force that's too strong for the self-professed greatest military power on earth. Lieberman gets most of his battle scenarios from what other great military strategists from Washington, George W. Bush. Neither have much of a record when it comes to fighting Stone Age cultures. Maybe we should let Iran become the world's next nuclear power. We have a better track record fighting nations with sophisticated weaponry. It's the insurgents with used AK-47s and homemade bombs that we can't seem to defeat. Absurd? Of course it is, but absurdity is all we have left in this Twilight Zone era. After more than $500 billion and 3,509 American lives, this country is still losing a war against a makeshift army using hit-and-run techniques that date back centuries. So now a wingnut independent senator wants to expand our fighting front and take on a new war in Iran? Why not? We're losing in Afghanistan. We're losing in Iraq. Why not make it 3 in a row? Our military resources are stretched so thin that war-weary soldiers face 3rd and 4th involuntary deployments in a war that's already sapped them physically and mentally. We've asked them to do the impossible time and time again. What's one more military debacle? What's another 3,500 lives? What's another wound on the dead carcass that is the soul of this nation? America's vaunted military machine, like the nation it represents, is a wheezing, bloated, inefficient, scandal-ridden mess, incapable of overcoming its own inertia, devoid of strategic thinking, and bankrupt from its own waste, fraud, and abuse. It sends soldiers into the field with inadequate training, inadequate equipment, and inadequate protection. Back in America, states face oncoming hurricane and tornado seasons without available National Guard forces to help in emergencies because Bush sent them off to fight in his failed wars. We can't fight the wars we have now, and Lieberman wants to add another conflict to the mix. God help us. Oh, I forgot. God only talks to George W. Bush. That's Doug Thompson's take this morning on Crazy Jew Lieberman. Just like that. Maybe Jew Lieberman can elope with Wolf Blitzkrieg, okay, and they can go and live in a kibbutz in Israel. And they can drop the big one on Tehran. They can drop one on Bamba. Kind of like, what's his name? Ethan Skolnick dropped it in his house. You know, during that call I had from Kimba on Saturday, I never got around to asking him how come he was at Ethan Skolnick's house. What are the two of them got going on?
See?
Which one wears the
most
pants?
Important question you could ask.
Right, that's right. I forgot all about that. I mean, what is an Ethan Skolnick when you come right down to it? But like I said before, it's a fraternity, man. These guys stick together. And when he told me, oh, well, you know, O.J.'s a good friend of mine, and he really helped bail us out because Kenny kind of bailed on the show the last minute there the other day, blah, blah, yeah, like that. O.J. McDuffie is a good friend of Kimba. That's what he told me. And I said to him, you mean that is a good friend of yours? That guy?
Yeah.
Remember that song by Herb Alpert, This Guy's in Love with You?
Maybe.
I wish we had that. We could play it for Ethan Skolnick and Kimba Bokamper. I don't want to keep picking on him, though, because he did call to apologize after Fat Jolly Joe Bell gave him my phone number. Don't give my phone number out again to anybody, Joe, ever. There you go. Herbie Alpert and the TJB baby on A&M Records.
The question is, yes, I remember this song.
Oh. It starts in here somewhere.
Do you remember the year?
I don't know.
You see this guy.
I'd say 63.
Oh, way off. 68.
Ooh. This guy's in love with Jews.
Yes, I'm in love.
Is that pathetic?
Heard enough of this already, right?
No. You didn't let it get to the good part. There really isn't that good part. Here
Let me know when that happens.
Terrible. Coma-inducing, man. The only thing worse than that was either Wayne Newton or Chris Montez. I'm not sure which. It's coming. The heavy-duty chorus coming. The big chorus, the big build-up. Here we go. This is just a little foreplay, and the big here it comes, right here. That's enough. It sucks. It never gets going anywhere. That's it. We ought to play that, though, for Ethan Skolnick and his sloppy bowel movement.
No, I actually liked this Herb Alpert. It's way later. This was like...
Oh, do we have to hear Herb Alpert?
Only because this song was playing during a very important time in my life.
I don't even know what this is. I never heard of it.
It's called Rise, and that's actually a clue.
Rise.
What was going on when I heard this and what was playing in the background on the car stereo there.
I see.
At Tropical Park one night.
It was rising?
It had risen.
I hear a bad cockamoon rising.
And then the security guard busted us.
Did you hear what he just said? He said cockamoon. Rhymes with...
What
June.
word did you say?
Rhymes with June and spoon and doom. 858 votes on the poll. Can I read the poll result, or do we have to listen to that swill?
You could do both at the same time. It's instrumental.
I don't want to hear... Oh, it is an instrumental. Good. Because when he starts singing, boy, that's when I start gagging.
Amen. That's why he stopped.
When Fidel finally dies, I'm not Cuban, couldn't care less, 587, over 68% of this audience, they just don't care. Well, there's Michael Moore.
I free 9/11 rescue workers. They need some medical attention. We don't want any more than you're giving Al-Qaeda.
Michael Moore's Sicko will be featured digitally in theaters June 29th.
Oh, June 29th. What day is that? Oh, that's a long ways away. That's
Friday.
A long ways away. That's after my vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be off that day. It's a Friday.
Right.
And you won't be playing any tapes. Now, let's see. This Friday is the 15th, so 2 weeks from this Friday is Sicko.
I'll watch it. I'll go to the theater. I'll give him money.
I'm Cuban. I'll definitely go see it. I'm Cuban and couldn't care less, 51. I'll start packing for a visit to Cuba, 50. I'll be so grief-stricken, how will I ever go on, 37. I'll light a Cuban cigar, a big fat one, 28. George will light a big fat one.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, what's unusual about that?
Nothing.
I'll drink a Cuban cafecito or eat a Cuban sandwich, 25. I'll set a dumpster, some tires on fire, 19. Hell, I'll put up the house up for sale and move to Cuba, 14. I'll play a Celia Cruz CD, 11, but not too loud, please. I'll stop my car in the middle of a bridge, 11. I'll join a street procession and blow my horn constantly, 9. I'll burn an effigy of Fidel, 6. I'll fire a gun into the air, 6. And I'll fly a Cuban flag, solamente cuatro, only 4. Out of 858. I think you got your 1,000 made today, Chris.
Told you.
He was under a lot of pressure last week, boy, with Josh there. He had to show off, make that every day.
Yeah,
a lot of pressure. This week we can just relax.
Like I'm saying, Michael Corleone did this, and Michael Corleone did that. So I said, yeah, sure.
monkey brains in Helen. Now that you're dead, that leaves a few extra meals for us to eat, and we can drill your puppet for hot gas. I hope a tree grows through your ass.
Rectum.
In your wide load casket. That's one less hate monger will no longer see on pundit shows with all those white cracker media hoes. The Lord can help you now as the brain lowers you down into your flaming pit of hate. You crooked turd, we're gonna take a dinky winky on your grave. And I'll miss composting more than you any day. Keep the casket door wide open for Pat Robertson, so you're both buried face to face.
Oh, excuse me, 11:18 at 560 WQM. You know me, when that mic is open, I'm liable to blurt anything out. When it does, he just blurts it out.
You're dangerous.
I am. Just ask him about Bokamper and his partner in crime, O.J. McDuffie. Oh, boy. And Robert Grieper, too, by the way, your favorite, one of your favorite people. But I tell you about him, okay? Slimeball. See, I did say it's Slimeball, okay? Slimeball. That's you, Robert. Dangerous. And, of course, the more dangerous and devious people are, the longer they stick around at QAM. In fact, back in the Greg Reed regime, remember all of his devious and dangerous people?
Oh, yeah.
Like the Water Nazi and Screw Wayne and all of these people? By the way, did you ever go see my buddy Ray Perry?
No, I did not.
Well, why not?
I forgot.
I told you it had to be done today.
I'll find him somewhere.
Find him sometime this week. Just find that information for me. It would just, help me arrange my life.
You got it.
Now, let's see. What about macaroni and cheese for lunch today?
For you?
For anybody. I'm thinking of the Z-Man. He said instead of the ice cream, just get yourself some of the Stouffer's frozen macaroni and cheese.
We went to KFC yesterday and got all kinds of those sides, including the macaroni and cheese, which I like very much, and the potato wedges, which I like very much, and a big tub of gravy, which I love to dunk the potato wedges into, and I didn't have one bite of one side. I just ate my chicken. How do you like that?
So what is that, like a lecture?
I want a medal. I want a parade.
Didn't it sound like he's lecturing?
That's right.
Definitely.
You know what? I did this and I did that.
Right. I did it and you can't. Great. Come on, fatso. Step up.
I think he's trying to show off.
Sounds really good to me, mac and cheese. I haven't had no macaroni and cheese in ages, man.
Good.
In a coon's age.
What?
I still don't know what that means.
What word did you say?
You heard what I said. We've said that a million times.
I'll have to look it up.
It's not a racial thing, okay? People who want to turn everything into a racial thing, like I said Friday, man, it's pathetic to me. It's tragic. What is there to say about it? The less said, the better. 879. So did I mention about Kimbo Bokamper calling me and Joe Bell giving him my phone number?
I think so.
I'm one of those people. I mean, I don't mind a phone call now and then if it's somebody I know, somebody I consider a friend, somebody I want to talk to, or somebody I would say somebody I need to talk to. I mean, Joe Bell calls me all the time. He calls me a lot.
Too much.
And I don't really know why he called on Friday. I guess to see if I was going to sue anybody or if I was psychotic. I beg your pardon?
He cares about you.
Get out of here. He cares about me, my fat ass. Get out of here. You're crazy.
He worries about you.
Yeah. He worries about whether I was going to sue somebody because they slandered me on the air on Thursday or Friday morning, whenever the hell it was.
You should sue Joyce.
No, I'm not going to sue Joyce. I'm not going to sue anybody. Why don't you sue Joyce, Chris? You're talking a big... now that George is back, talking big crap, both of you.
I did this yesterday, and
That's right.
Great. I'm happy for you. I'm
losing
stay
weight,
alive.
baby.
I plan to stay alive a long time, okay? In fact, Bob Barker is quitting on Friday. How old is he? 83, something like that?
I don't know.
That means another 19 years of this for this kid. I'm going to take the Bob Barker challenge, baby. I'm going to keep making sounds in my mouth till I'm as old as he is. What do you think? Could I do it?
Sure. Absolutely.
83?
Stay away from that macaroni and cheese, you will.
I'm not going to have no macaroni and cheese, but it does sound really good.
It sounds good.
And it is good. You know when it's really good?
Yeah, I know.
Like if you get the frozen kind, the Stouffer's that the Z-Man was recommending me. And you cook it like an extra minute or 90 seconds longer. You nuke it longer than it says, and then that way it gets like brown on top.
The
really
crispy.
Almost burned.
Sure.
Not quite. Don't do it too far.
No, I'm with you.
Don't burn it, because then you got to throw it out and go get another one. And then when you go get another one at the store, you'd probably get like a big tub of ice cream with it, because then you'd be so frustrated, for having burned it. Well, you've never done frustration eating?
No, when I get frustrated, I don't eat. I get nauseous and I don't feel like eating.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's real super frustration eating. I'm just talking about there's a level between being real frustrated when you lose your appetite, when you want to puke your guts out, like when you find out that somebody is alleging that you said some racist things on the air that you never said and never would say, and they should know better.
I think that's why some of you people are fat, is because you stress eat.
Some of you people? What does that mean? Are you picking on fat people now?
You and Chris and all the lardos in the building.
Lard-ass, yeah. Like the Humper. The Humper is... boy, he could barely speak on Saturday. His voice keeps getting... I don't know, is it from the lack of energy? Is it from the blood sugar? Or is it the fat in the neck is like choking the vocal cords and preventing it from... I don't know.
Maybe he needs a different size collar.
That might be it, but boy, he started to get really... a little high pitch there. For a second, I thought that maybe somebody had put Geldy's voice into Hank's body. Well, whatever. I'm not going to start picking on the Humper, okay? He's back. Thank God we got the regular schedule going this week. All week I'm looking at the schedule. Monday through Friday, we have people outside of the morning show who belong on the air. Isn't that refreshing and a breath of fresh air? Yeah. Sunday, I see we got Evan Cohen back on for another visit from 9 to noon. Doesn't he still work in Palm Beach at that other station?
That's correct.
He does?
Yes.
So, in other words, he's double dripping?
Yes.
I wonder if Evan Cohen knows Ethan Skolnick, and I wonder if he's ever smelled the bad bowel movements in Ethan's apartment like Bokamper has.
You want me to ask him?
Yeah, be sure and ask him when you see Evan again. Have you ever hung out at Ethan Skolnick's house, and do his bowel movements really smell as bad as Bokamper says, and does he really use lilac air freshener? Those are the questions you want to ask.
Lilac, okay.
Lilac. As in,
gay.
Because everything the jocks talk about, it has to be
gay,
homophobic, and that's what makes them more butch. If you're 6'8" and weigh 700 pounds like Bokamper, you really have to talk about people hiding behind a dress and a skirt and challenging some old queen. Really sounds butch to me, sweetheart. U.S. automakers on a collision course with catastrophe are involved in behind-the-scenes machinations in Washington that could well sound the death knell for the industry. Just as they fought nearly every safety feature, including airbags, for decades, now they're pulling out all the stops and fighting proposed congressional mandates for increased gas mileage. The big three, or what remains of them, are whispering in the ears of congressional leaders that the national goal of getting an average of 35 miles per gallon anytime soon is ludicrous. They say Americans wouldn't buy cars designed to get that kind of mileage because they wouldn't like such vehicles. Well, too bad. They say even if they wanted to do it, the technology isn't there. They say proposals to improve gas mileage by that much would drive them out of business. The fact that other manufacturers produce vehicles that are far more fuel efficient than cars made by Detroit is kicked aside. The fact that China has already set a fuel efficiency standard that the Bush administration suggests be discussed in the U.S. for 10 years from now is overlooked. The auto industry's desperate efforts to stave off new mandates from Congress for better fuel mileage came at the same time the U.S. was successfully negotiating a global deal to block obligatory measures to try to save the planet. The just completed Group of 8 session in Germany of the 8 richest, most industrialized nations came up with a convoluted, face-saving measure in which President Bush agreed to do more than seriously consider European targets for combating global climate change. But because of Bush's opposition, the G8 didn't agree on the proposal to cut greenhouse, meaning the carbon dioxide emissions by 50% by 2050 or mandate any goals at all. There was no doubt that this would be the outcome, but it's not a good one for the U.S. image abroad. The perception is that the U.S. is not going to take major steps to curtail global warming if it would hurt U.S. businesses and manufacturers, and that's what the Republican Party has always been about and always will be about, is big business and big money and big oil and big rip-off and big rape of the American public. There's true anger building in Congress over lack of action by the U.S. government on climate change based on refusal to admit that the science was right. And there's true anger building over the waste of energy that Detroit has contributed to by refusing to build cars that get better mileage on the grounds it's too costly. The automakers do have a point, which is that what they have done is what is required by law to improve mileage, but U.S. energy consumption has continued to soar. Nonetheless, its industry leaders had accepted the challenge of true fuel economy if they had done it long ago. Instead of spending so much time winning over pro-business administrations in the White House, we'd be far better off as a society. Most of us live with our heads in the sand when it comes to energy and global warming. We can't believe that at the last moment there won't be scientific breakthroughs that will prevent the U.S. from running out of energy and will save the world from devastating climate change. Perhaps that will happen, but so far there are no signs of miracles. With $5 a gallon gas almost certainly in our future, and more Americans either too poor to buy expensive new cars or eager to buy foreign-made cars that get 35, 40, or 50 miles a gallon, it's not hard to see what's going to happen. There won't be U.S. car makers. Cars like shoes and clothing will be made elsewhere. But by then there could be all kinds of driving restrictions because the government will tell us that a warmer climate means we must give up more of our civil liberties. It's called cutting off your nose to spite your face. How are we doing on your poll, Chris?
We're doing good.
I shouldn't have started with that macaroni and cheese.
Why, are you getting yourself worked up now?
$8.94. No, I'm not getting myself worked up. Am I going to get worked up about macaroni and cheese? You bet your sweet ass I am. I might have to go out to Woodbine again and just go up, forget about gambling, just go up to the cafeteria and just take a big bucket and fill it up with that mac and cheese. One thing about racetracks, man, they got good macaroni and cheese.
I like mac and cheese.
Do you?
Yeah.
Not Kraft, though. Just to piss you off, I'm going to the store right after the show and I'm buying a big economy-sized box of macaroni and cheese.
Neil Rogers.
Big,
Exclusively
huge,
on 560.
family size.
MONTAYSUCKS.
Quit giving out my phone number, Jolly Joe.
Down in Miami, where the losers all go, there's a big fat bastard named Jolly Joe. He manages a radio station there, and when it comes to paying bills, Joe don't care.
That big Joe, man, what a radio, that big Joe, what a show, that big Joe.
Joe's quick to point out that measly greed has a spending freeze. Cracker, please. I'm not the only one who's being left with no choice but to leave on your desk a steaming pile of joys.
That big Joe, man, what a radio, that big Joe, man, you Joe, that big Joe.
I'm looking forward to seeing Deadbeat Joe on the corner of Jog and Palmetto Park Road, walking through the traffic with a cardboard sign that says,
"I'm a deadbeat bum. Can you spare me a dime?"
Deadbeat Joe, your car's gonna get just Deadbeat, I hope they foreclose on the Deadbeat Joe.
You blow.
11:34, 26 till noon at 560 WQAM. We got the Mad Dog at the Finns Golf Tournament at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Wow. All the Finns all the time, eh? Dolphins All Access, 7 o'clock after the Humper tonight. Lots of Finn stuff on there. Aren't you surprised? Not. When are we getting those tickets, by the way?
Oh, man, give me a chance.
Okay. I want an answer tomorrow morning.
You got it.
and don't take, bada beep, bada boop for an answer, you know. I would pin that old fart right up against the wall and knee him in the nuts if he doesn't give you an honest answer.
No, I'm saving that for David Chase.
Oh, no, when you get your knee worked up, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that'll be
to a sharp point. And then knee David Chase in the nuts. I'm thinking of Taco Bell today, you know.
Okay.
Look at that, Paris Hilton. I used to act dumb. That act is no longer cute. Now I'd like to make a difference. God has given me this new chance. Oh, God is right. Oh, God. Gag me with a prune. Oh, prune rhymes with June and cockamoon. In honor of our close friend, the cockamoon lady.
Cockamoon.
There you go. There she is. Boy, sure miss her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago did she die? How many years ago?
I don't know.
6,
3
7?
more?
Quite a while, huh?
I don't know.
I think I was down there. Oh, I remember those days being in that studio, and the overhead all the time was all screwed up, and they'd come in and Potsky around with the speakers, and this would be broken, and that mic switch and the on-off switch. Oh, boy. You know, while you were out last week, I better not say it.
Why not?
I don't want. I'm not going to do it again. Remember, Chris? I gave myself a canary. I don't want to say it. Toward the end of the show, I'll tell you.
All right.
Remind me.
Okay.
Something to do with engineering.
Canary.
A Berkeley watchdog organization that tracks military spending said it uncovered a strange U.S. military proposal to create a hormone bomb that could purportedly turn enemy soldiers into homosexuals and make them more interested in sex than fighting.
I bet you want to get your hands on that formula.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Instant gay.
I'm going back. I'm getting some of that and going back to Woodbine on Saturday. Oh, brother.
Gay spray.
Yeah. That's the way it would sound, too. Just like Brady Anderson.
Gay.
Pentagon officials on Friday confirmed to CBS that military leaders had considered and then subsequently rejected building the so-called gay bomb.
Gay
bomb. Edward Hammond of Berkeley's Sunshine Project had used the Freedom of Information Act to obtain a copy of the proposal from the Air Force's Wright Laboratory in Dayton, Ohio. As part of a military effort to develop non-lethal weapons, the proposal suggested one distasteful but completely non-lethal example would be strong aphrodisiacs, especially if the chemical also caused homosexual behavior. Because you know that unlike heterosexual, all of us faggots, that's all we think about is sex. Unlike you heterosexuals, who only think about it maybe once every couple of weeks. Or I should say, only getting it maybe once every couple of weeks. The document showed the Air Force lab asked for $7.5 million to develop such a chemical weapon. The Ohio Air Force lab proposed that a bomb be developed that contained a chemical that would cause enemy soldiers to become gay and to have their units break down. Their unit would break down because all their soldiers become irresistibly attractive to each other, Hammond said after reviewing the documents. Make love, not war, I guess. The notion was that a chemical that would probably be pleasant in the human body in low quantities could be identified, and by virtue of either breathing or having their skin exposed to this chemical, the notion was that soldiers would become gay, Hammond explained. Right, that's how you do it. Maybe with some lilac spray, like at Ethan Skolnick's house. The Pentagon told CBS the proposal was made by the Air Force in 1994. The Department of Defense is committed to identifying, researching, and developing non-lethal weapons that will support our men and women in uniform, said a DoD spokesman, who indicated the gay bomb idea was quickly dismissed. Oh, they should have given it a little more thought. However, Hammond said the government records he obtained suggest the military plan gave the plan much stronger consideration than it's acknowledged. The truth of the matter is it would never have come to my attention if it was dismissed at the time it was proposed, he said. In fact, the Pentagon has used it repeatedly and subsequently in an effort to promote non-lethal weapons, and in fact they submitted it to the highest scientific review body in the country for them to consider. Military officials insisted Friday to CBS they're not currently working on any such idea and that the past plan was abandoned. Gay community leaders in California said Friday they found the notion of a gay bomb both offensive and laughable at the same time. Throughout history, we've had so many brave men and women who are gay and lesbians serving the military with distinction, said Jeff Kors of Equality California. And there's more to it, but it gets chopped off and I can't read it. But a beep, but a boop, but a bop. Gay spray.
Gay.
Uh-oh. Look at this.
Yes, huh?
Joan Fleischman writes in the Herald, what a surprise that is since you got this war going on fat people and macaroni and cheese. And what about Taco Bell? Is that okay as long as I don't eat too many tacos?
That's approved.
How can that be approved when it's got all that carbs in it?
You said you don't eat the shell.
When the hell did I ever say that?
Isn't that what you just got done saying, as long as you don't eat the taco?
That's correct.
I didn't say I don't eat it. I said... You're twisting it around. Just like Friday, putting words in my mouth.
Isn't that okay as long as I don't eat the taco? That's what you said, and I said,
as long as I don't have tacos. I'm not saying I'm going to eat the fillings out of the taco. What kind of... I mean, a burrito, you could do that. Burrito Supreme.
Sure.
Get about 6 of them, bring them home, and just take a fork and unwrap them all and don't eat the thing.
I thought you said that's what you've done before.
I have never in my life eaten a taco with the fillings out of a taco.
No, out of the burrito.
Out of the burrito, I have done that. In fact, I put it on the bowl. What is that pasta? The low carb? What was it?
That's what you said you've done.
What was the brand?
Dreamfields. Chris just said it.
Dreamfield. I don't have any more. It's all gone. Anyway, can I get to this very important story about Jim DeFetus?
He's gonna die.
Jim Will you stop?
What? That was
Jim
Chris.
DeFetus, WINZ talk show host and WFOR CBS4 commentator, is at Mercy Hospital recovering from surgery to drain a fluid buildup around his heart. He only weighs, about 900 pounds? I can't imagine why. 8 or 9 days ago, I started feeling short of breath, says DeFetus, 44. Every day, every hour is getting worse. Look in the mirror, you fat cow. God, you make Hank look like Skinny Atlas. On Monday, he had a stress test. We went through that with flying colors, he said. Tuesday, he had an echocardiogram. The tech said, you're not going anywhere. And he paged DeFetus cardiologist, Dr. Glenn Barkay, who has an office adjacent to Mercy. Barkay literally got a wheelchair and wheeled me to the hospital, he said. Jim DeFetus. Dr. Rumalato Peter Segurola Jr. operated early Wednesday. More than a liter of fluid was pressing up against my heart, said DeFetus, a former Herald columnist. Doctors suspect a viral infection. Right. DeFetus underwent surgery in April at Jackson Memorial, a fluid buildup in his scrotum. Oh, I can't imagine why. When you weigh 900 pounds, can you imagine the pressure from your thighs? Oh, my God. Talk about the old nutcracker sweet. He's on the Men from the Heart episode. I'm feeling great, he says. He hopes to get out Monday and return to work in 2 weeks. Nicole Sandler, who produces his weekday morning radio show, is filling in. DeFetus says, this is a good reminder to me I need to get healthier and lose some weight. Yeah, 500-600 pounds couldn't hurt.
And your official home for Miami Dolphins football.
Jason Taylor bats the ball away. He scoops it up, dashes into the end zone.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Yeah. MONDAYSUCKS.
Yeah! Ain't ready. What's up, y'all? This your boy D Mike. See, I usually do songs with like hooks and concepts and shit, right? But that, man, I'm trying to go platinum. So I'm about to rock this. Check this out, y'all. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O-O-K. 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 Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Yeah, not a sports
It's 11:49 at 560 WQM. 11 before noon. Oh, we got 2 hours to go. Wow. See, there he goes again. He's counting down, all worked up about that vacation and about that summer schedule. And you know what?
Oh!
F&A, baby. You're right. Now, do you think I could play that too many times today? The rumor I'm hearing is George is going to play that all day, every day in the summer.
That's right, uncut.
Uncut?
Right.
Well, in your case, that wouldn't be anything new, would it?
Right.
Vice President Dick, oh, that poor Jim DeFetus, man. Don't we want to wish him the best or
yes.
whatever? We do?
Sure, why not? Never stole a
He doesn't belong on here. He's another one. Big, enormous, gigantic. And they put him on television. This is like, what's his name? Who's that guy that used to be on Channel 6, which I can't think of his name? Dave, not Dave Dixon. Dave, that reporter that weighed 4,000 pounds.
Oh, Game. Dave Game.
Dave Game. Oh, my God. Is Dave Game? Gamey, maybe. I wonder if he's still alive.
We have a bit.
We have a bit on Dave Game?
Yeah, it's called
oh, yeah.
Dave Game.
That's it.
If you want to see fat, Action News is where it's at. Dave Game. He weighs 500 pounds. He's a mile around. Dave Game.
So anyway, Jim DeFetus, he says he better start worrying about his weight. Oh, man. I'm 189, by the way. It's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. Let me say it again. It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
It's not the worst.
Well, you don't sound too pleased about it.
It could be better.
Yeah, it could be. It's better than 589.
Hey, I don't want to poo any punches anymore, man. You're too important to just let yourself go and die,
No punches pooed?
That's right.
Yeah, poo this.
No.
Vice President Dick Cheney's routine checkup Friday revealed no new blockages in his heart, but, can you believe they actually find a heart? But doctors said he needs a new battery for a special pacemaker he's got in his chest. Wouldn't that be a shame if he croaked from a battery died? Oh, boy, wouldn't that be bad? The battery in his implanted cardiac defibrillator is reaching its limit, said Megan McGinn, Deputy Press Secretary for the Vice President. She says the device to replace the battery and that surgery is going to be scheduled this summer at a convenient time for the Vice President. It's chopped off here on the right-hand margin. I don't really care. Did I print this out or did you send it? No, I actually printed this out. See, I don't know if that... And you're going to give me that song and dance again about highlighting the whole thing and print...
no, not no more.
Sometimes that works, and guess what? Sometimes it does not.
It only works when you do it right.
Meaning what?
That if it didn't work, you didn't do it right.
But what if it's all high? What if it's all in blue? Okay, what if it's all selected to print that whole thing, and it still doesn't work? Then what did I do wrong?
Then there are other ways. You can just put it onto a clipboard, and then the whole thing will print up without cutting anything off.
Cheney underwent his annual physical, including a stress test at George Washington. I wonder if he was doing the same stress test as Jim DeFetus, you think? You see the two of them on the treadmill together? Jim DeFetus said his stress test went great. Doctors also checked out Cheney's cardiac defibrillator, which was implanted in June 2001, to shock his heart if he had an irregular heartbeat. A stress test showed no new evidence of new coronary blockage, damn it. Cheney, 66, who's got a history of heart problems, resumed his normal schedule after the checkup. In March, doctors discovered he had a deep venous thrombosis in his lower left leg. Cheney had 6 hours of surgery on his legs in 2005 to repair kind of an aneurysm, a ballooning weak spot artery that can burst if left untreated. He's had 4 heart attacks, quadruple bypass surgery, 2 artery-clearing angioplasties, and an operation to implant the defibrillator deep in his heart. In fact, his heart and his ass are probably in the same place. Kind of like those guys on the morning show that's going off. Too bad about that, huh?
What?
About that morning show that's going to be going off fairly soon.
Oh, it's too bad.
Yeah, I don't know which one I'm talking about. Just a generic one. And then, of course, they're going to say, oh, well, it's Neil Rogers. Yeah, right. I have a lot to do with that. I have a lot to do with that. You know me. I'm always running around trying to get people fired and making up stories. They said this. They said that. They did this. It's like I said before, little kids in a sandbox. When there are people who are intelligence challenged, Those are the types of things that they do. This is the way they respond, is to make up some kind of crap and say, oh, you're picking on me. You said this and you said... And, of course, you didn't say any of it in the first place. And then I guess it must have dawned on somebody, maybe Robert Grieper, the Grim Reaper, the Lord of the Board. Maybe it dawned on him, oh, we got the show on, we got the recording. And Chris and I listened to it before the show on Friday where I said, we are doomed, doomed, doomed. Say it again, doomed. D-O-O-M-E-D.
Be careful.
Read a mother-scratching book. 9:30 on your poll. Chris is really pleased because he knows you people are going to put him way over the 1,000 mark. Aren't you pleased?
Oh, definitely, of course.
Yeah, he's all psyched about it. He's more psyched about the fact that you guys have got food coming in again this week. Right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You don't? I bet you don't have Taco Bell coming in this week. Boy, I'm sure I'm in the mood.
No.
What started me on that?
I don't know. They're good. You haven't had it in a while, and they're good.
Brandon is off. He's on vacation this week, so, having a rich, full life and having gotten late a couple of times overnight and this morning, he's sending me all these IMs, and he's starting with the food stuff. That's where I got going on the macaroni and cheese, and then he's talking about baked ziti, and I'm thinking to myself, what would prevent me from doing the macaroni and cheese? Taco Bell. Now, the only problem with me is that when you go to Taco Bell now, they got so many damn different things, and unless you go there regular, you don't know what all the different things are on the menu, and you stand there like, oh, can I help you? Come on. No, I don't know. Leave me alone. I'm looking. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
What's a chimichanga?
I think
do
it's
they
like
actually have that at Taco Bell?
I don't know, but it's like a fried burrito, which is very good if done right, like meat
fried
and cheese,
burrito?
all deep fried. Yeah.
Ooh, bad for you, man. Like French fries. But sounds really good.
It is good.
Let me have a couple of chimichangas.
You know it. They're fun to say too.
Yeah.
Chimichanga.
I'll just stand there and keep saying that till they drag me away. 4 minutes till noon at 560 WQM.
I like to relax by having Mary Magdalene massage my balls while listening to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
And now, another tale from the cell phone of Dick Cheney. Today, Dick dials celebrity biographer Kitty Kelly.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Kitty Kelly, please.
Speaking.
Yes, Kitty, this is Dick Cheney, Vice President of the United States of America. How are you?
Fine.
That's good. That's nice.
Is there something I can help you with?
Yes. It's just that book that's coming out next week that you wrote. Frankly, we question its credibility, and I was wondering if maybe you could wait a couple of months before actually putting it out.
I'm sorry, my phone is breaking up. Did you just ask me not to print the book until after the election?
Yes. After George Bush gets reelected, print all you want. We won't care then.
Why would I want to do that? Hello?
Money-grubbing.
What?
Liar.
Oh, my.
If your book's released, the terrorists win.
Huh?
You're messing with the President of the United States of America.
Okay, I'm hanging up now.
We know where you live, you dumb bitch.
Okay.
That's right. We'll get your little dog Toto, too.
Bye-bye.
What's wrong with you? Hello?
This has been another tale from the cell phone of Dick Cheney.
12:02 at 560 WQM. Happy Monday to you, June 11th. Boy, isn't it depressing to think that almost everybody else is on vacation and here we are toiling over hot microphones? This ain't good.
Sweating, yeah.
Yeah, well, you just had your vacation. And
Right.
you said you didn't really do very much.
No, I did not. I did some laundry. Did some more weeping.
Yeah.
It was, weeping.
And
that's
was
it.
the
I
highlight?
went to the beach a couple times,
To the beach?
I mean, we're right there, so.
The Hollywood Beach?
That's the one.
I see. Sounds kind of like
Gay
to me.
Okay.
Guantanamo has become a major problem for America's perception as it's seen the way the world perceives America, and if it was up to me, I would close Guantanamo, not tomorrow, but this afternoon, I'd close it, said Colin Powell on Meet the Press yesterday morning. And I wouldn't let any of those people go. I would simply move them to the U.S. and put them in our federal legal system. He would close it as of yesterday afternoon. Isn't that the same Colin Powell who sat in front of the UN and read that speech and held up that vial and committed that vile act so that all these people are dead? Wasn't that the one who sold out? Yes.
Yes.
The concern was, well, then they'll have access to lawyers. Then they'll have access to writs of habeas corpus. So what? Let them. Isn't that what our system is all about? He continued. Wow, how revolutionary. Now he's opening up a big mouth. Powell said the U.S. justice system can handle bad people. He told host Tim Russert that he would close Gitmo and stop using the military commission system. Instead, he would deal with prisoners in more constitutional terms. Uh-oh. Essentially, we've shaken the belief that the world had in America's justice system by keeping a place like Guantanamo open and creating things like a military commission. He said, we don't need it, and it's causing us far more damage than any good we get for it. That's what Roland Colin said yesterday. Of course, he talks about, he talks out of all sides of his mouth. That's what I've heard. Think we got 1,000 votes on your poll yet, or what? It's not, to me, it's not very exciting. When the majority of people are saying, 946, and 68% are saying I'm not Cuban and couldn't care less about Fidel. It doesn't leave too much, Right?
What do you mean?
Most people who aren't obsessed with Cuba don't care about Fidel. Just like most people who aren't obsessed with Israel don't give a rat's ass about that crap, about all those good bubble mices, Paul Krugman in the New York Times today writes this column, authentic ? Never mind. He says, rich liberals who claim they'll help America's less fortunate are phonies. Let me give you one example. A Democrat who said he'd work on behalf of workers and the poor. He said he'd even take on big business. But the truth is that while he was saying those things, he was living in a big house and had a pretty lavish summer home, too. His favorite recreation, sailing, was incredibly elitist, and he didn't talk like a regular guy. Clearly, this politician wasn't authentic. His name, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Luckily, that's not how the political game was played 70 years ago. FDR wasn't accused of being a phony. He was accused of being a traitor to his class. But today, it seems, politics is all about seeming authentic. A recent Associated Press analysis of the political scene asked, can you fake authenticity? Probably not, but it might be worth a try. What does authenticity mean? Supposedly, it means not pretending to be who you aren't. But that definition doesn't seem to fit the way the term is actually used in political reporting. For example, the case of FDR shows that there's nothing inauthentic, if the normal sense of the word, about calling for higher taxes on the rich while being rich yourself. If anything, it's to your credit if you advocate policies that will hurt your own financial position. But the news media seem to find it deeply disturbing that John Edwards talks about fighting poverty while living in a big house. On the other hand, consider the case of Fred Thompson. He spent 18 years working as a highly paid lobbyist, wore well-tailored suits, and drove a black Lincoln Continental. When he ran for the Senate, however, his campaign reinvented him as a good old boy, at least a used red pickup truck for him to drive, dressed up in jeans and a work shirt, with a can of Red Man chewing tobacco on the front seat. But Mr. Thompson's strength, says Lanny Davis in The Hill, is that he's authentic. Oh, and as a candidate, George W. Bush was praised as being more authentic than Al Gore. As late as November 2005, MSNBC's chief political correspondent declared that Mr. Bush's authenticity was his remaining source of strength. But now the AP says that Mr. Bush's lack of credibility is the reason that his would-be successors need to seem, yes, authentic. Talk of authenticity, it seems, lets commentators and journalists put down politicians they don't like or praise politicians they do like with no relationship to what politicians actually say or do. Here's a suggestion. Why not evaluate candidates' policy proposals rather than their authenticity? And if there are reasons to doubt a candidate's sincerity, spell them out. For example, Hillary Clinton's credibility as a friend of labor is called into question not by her biography or lifestyle, but by the fact that, as the Nation recently reported, her chief strategist, a man Al Gore fired in 2000 because he didn't trust him, heads a public relations company that helps corporations fight union organizing drives. And where do you start with Rudy Giuliani? We keep being told that he has credibility on national security because he seemed so reassuring on 9/11. Some firefighters have condemned his actual performance that day, saying that rescue efforts were uncoordinated and that firemen died because he provided them with faulty radios. All he did was give information on the TV, said a deputy fire chief whose son died at the World Trade Center. He did nothing. And the nation's largest firefighters union has condemned his handling of recovery efforts in the weeks following 9/11. But he spent the year since then cashing in on terrorism, and his decisions about Giuliani partners, personnel, and clients raise real questions about his seriousness. His partners, as the Washington Post pointed out, included a former police commissioner later convicted of corruption, a former FBI executive admitted taking artifacts from Ground Zero, and a former Roman Catholic priest accused of covering up sexual abuse in the church. The point is that questions about a candidate shouldn't be whether he or she is authentic. They should be about motives. Whose interest would the candidate serve if elected? And think how much better shape the nation would be if enough people had asked that question 7 years ago. Paul Krugman writes in the Times today. 7 years ago, let's turn the clock back, okay? Let's count the vote again, please. Let's do it over again. Let's get those hanging chads and stick them where the moon don't shine. Let's get that judge again to look up. If you get his eye bulging out of his head, hold that ballot up to the sky and look at it with that bulging eye. I think I'm going to take an hour off and go to Taco Bell. Oh, brother. Did you die or what?
Right here, what?
Oh. Well, I mean, as soon as I said that about Taco Bell, you said, oh, don't do it.
No, Taco Bell's fine the way that you've talked about doing it before.
What does that mean?
You talk about gutting the burrito. And,
I talked about putting it on that damn low-carb pasta.
Right, which is way better than
I don't have any low-carb pasta, and basta with la pasta,
so
okay? I'm not eating no baked ziti, I'm not eating no macaroni, I'm not eating no spaghetti.
Just squeeze the insides out into your mouth. You know that's done, right?
Woo! I got a line for that, and we would get joiced instantly, if not sooner. Probably get quoted on a morning show tomorrow for it. Well, Neil Rogers said this, and Neil Rogers is up there in Toronto hiding behind his dress. I dare him to come down here and say that right to the man's face. Yeah? That was a pretty half-assed apology he gave on the air at the end of their show this morning, wasn't it? Why didn't he save the long apology that he gave me on the phone Saturday for on the air so that the public could know that I never really did say that a bunch of people decided to make that up and say, oh, yeah, I heard it. And like that. And say that after all these years of working with me, he should know that I'm not just some dumb ex-jock, that I know a little bit about broadcasting, and I wouldn't blurt such crap like that out on the air. Why didn't he say that? Instead of that half-assed, lukewarm, warmed-over pile of crap apology that he gave this morning. Huh?
I don't know.
Instead of Joe Bell giving him my phone number so he could bug me on a Saturday on the weekend, no less. Just unacceptable. Now, did you send me a text message on Friday about... you know something?
Yeah. What?
That couldn't happen again in a million years. As I said, text message. Well, it's not. It's an email.
You got one.
I got an email. What's it?
That kind of thing happens all the time.
But I just got through saying it, and the words weren't even out of my mouth yet. And this thing was bzzz, and it was somebody I don't want to hear from, some political crap, you know. You know what I mean by that?
Yes, I do.
I should get rid of all those, shouldn't I?
Yep.
960 votes on the poll. This is the hour we go over 1,000, and then Joel Feinberg will go up to the corner, and he'll sit on the corner with his head in his hands and cry like a baby, especially after seeing those trends last Thursday. Isn't that what you asked me about in that message?
That's right. It was an
How come when you text me now, it doesn't show your full who it's from? I
don't know. Maybe because my phone number isn't in your address book.
Well, let's keep it that way.
Hey.
Bokamper's is. In fact, here's what it is: 954.
Mm-hmm.
Now, doesn't that bug you if people would give out your phone number to somebody without asking you first?
Sure. And I know it's a peeve of yours, which is
now
why
what
I
is Rick Sanchez doing there?
What this means, if you could.
The order. He's released. He's released.
So the judge is saying that he agrees on habeas corpus grounds that he should be released.
He's released. He's released.
Wow. Little Ricky Ticky Sanchez melodrama there on CNN. Who's Gennaro Wilson? Who is that?
I don't know.
The judge said he ought to be released from prison, and Ricky Ticky Sanchez was like hyperventilating about blah, 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 like that. See, like I told you before, CNN needs to be taken off the air. I don't know where their transmitters are. I guess they're up there on the satellite, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That satellite needs to be shot out of the air. If we want to save the world, CNN must go.
Now, see here. I ain't never said no. I get very annoyed about me saying doy. I ain't never said doy. If they continue to say that I doy, then they ought to pay me by the doy. Doy, 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 doy. Doy, 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 doy. Doy, 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 doy. Doy, 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 doy. Doy, 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 doy.
where I go.
You always say toy.
I don't say toy. From this point on, you will listen to me by my terrific.
12:18. I don't see Geldy on the schedule till Saturday. Oh, how are we going to survive till the weekend, huh? Here's that story about that. What kind of a name is that anyway? Gennarlo. Genarlow. What is that?
I don't know.
A judge today voted a 10-year sentence for a man accused of having consensual oral sex with a 15-year-old girl when he was 17. He instead gave Gennarlo Wilson a 12-month misdemeanor sentence with credit for time already served. The state's likely to appeal the ruling. That's in Atlanta, Georgia. And, of course, in Georgia, they don't like no hanky-spanky, especially if it includes no dark folks. They don't like that. And there's lots of dark folks in Georgia. Wilson's original sentence for aggravated child molestation was widely criticized on the grounds it was grossly disproportionate to the crime. A crime? What are we talking about here? Wake up, America! And state lawmakers later passed a law to close the loophole that led to the 10-year sentence. Wilson, now 21, has already served more than 27 months, over 2 years in the slammer. He could remain behind bars while the appeal proceeds. A jury found the honor student guilty in 2005 of aggravated child molestation for having oral sex with a 15-year-old girl during a 2003 New Year's Eve party involving booze and marijuana. Although the sex act was consensual, it was illegal under Georgia law. Oh, those Georgia laws. It's almost enough to make me crank up that song with a real bad first note. Yeah. Everything, even looking, is sodomy in Georgia.
Is it done orally?
I guess it was. Anyway, it says Wilson was also charged with rape for being one of several male partygoers at the Douglas County Hotel to have sex with a 17-year-old girl, but was acquitted. The party was captured on a videotape that was played for the jury. Several influential people, including former President Jimmy Carter, stepped forward to support Wilson. His lawyers could be heard applauding in the orifice after the order was released, and Ricky Tiki Sanchez was in there, all hyperventilating. There's your president in Albania.
Cheers. Thanks to Woodrow Wilson.
They like him there. They finally found a place where they like him.
And the first President Bush's help in ending communism.
Oh, my God.
One America, Albania.
Yeah.
George Bush.
Your mama. Get lost, bitch. Talk about Parshane, man. Look at that. If that's what Albanians look like, forget about it. But they like George Bush, man, in Albania. Let's take a look at that poll and see if Chris is going to get that 1,000 this hour. I have a feeling. 974. You got it.
Of course.
You got it, man. When Fidel finally dies, not Cuban, couldn't care less. 67.6%. 659. I'll start packing for a visit to Cuba, 59. I'm Cuban, I couldn't care less, 57. I'll be so grief-stricken, how will I ever go on, 41. I'll light a Cuban cigar, 37. I'll drink a Cuban cafecito or get a Cuban, eat a Cuban sandwich, 28. I wonder if they have a Cuban sandwich at Taco Bell. I guess not.
No, Miguel's eating Taco Bell right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Bastard. Why, now, did I influence him on that?
I asked him that, and he said no, it was a coincidence.
Yeah. See, he won't give me credit for anything. Even the 1,400 and some odd, I'll take a look in a minute and see how many we got on the MySpace in your face. 1,430, I think. I think it's more than that. We had a lot of friends. Some are real friends, and some are like ersatz. And some were wannabe friends, like Greg from Port St. Lucie. And I said, I don't think so. Bye-bye. Denied. Go away. I'll set a dumpster, set some tires on fire, 25. I'll put the house up for sale and move to Cuba, 14. Bye-bye. Adios. I'll play a Cedar Cruz CD, 12. I'll stop my car in the middle of a bridge, 12. I'll join a street procession and blow my horn constantly, 12. I'll fire a gun into the air, 8, like it's the 4th of July. Well, that's coming up pretty soon, the 4th of July. Oh, here's the Sopranos thing. Sopranos silence. Oh, that's coming up. That was a different story. See, I hate when they do that. They tease another story and they're showing you some other crap. I'll burn an effigy of Fidel 6 and I'll fly a Cuban flag 4. Quit flying a Cuban flag, okay? Speak it English and fly a real flag, like Canadian. Certainly not American. Anybody want to fly an American flag these days? No. Like the ones on like those flag draped coffins that they don't want you to see because it's bad for business. It's bad for the Bushmeister and for Bandar Bush. Did you see on NBC News the other night? Friday, I think it was, or Thursday? Thursday.
What?
All the billions of dollars that Bandar Bush and his family have been fleecing. Yeah. And he said, corruption? What's wrong with corruption? And that was, he said that.
Nice.
What's wrong with corruption? And you wonder why he's, part and parcel of the crooked Bush family. It's the Saudis, baby. That's why we don't blow up Saudi Arabia. Because they're the Bush's buddies. They're in bed together. Literally and figuratively. I bet you underneath. And you notice how he's always holding hands with the Saudis, too? Mm-hmm. I think there's more there than meets the eye. And believe me, from a guy like me who knows how to wear a dress and a skirt, I wish I would have heard that whole thing from Friday morning, because I probably would have gone more ballistic. And as soon as I started talking about it, we opened up the phones, believe it or not, and took about 80 zillion calls. Remember, Chris? Phone was smoking.
Yes,
which is amazing that there were actually that many people listening to our morning show, especially at 7:30 in the morning.
That's why they got that better trend.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, too bad. There's still history. I guess a lot of shows, just in their last throes, those shows, for whatever reason, just like my BlackBerry buzzing there just at that moment, they get a fluke number. I mean, a big number. 984, going for a few more. And once we get to 1,000, during the summer months, don't start looking for any setting quotas, numbers like that.
I'm thinking about 300 during the summer.
Now, is that on Tuesday and Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday?
Yes.
I see. In other words, even on Tuesday and Thursday, you think I'm only getting 300 votes on my polls? You're dreaming, baby. Well, I'm the pollmeister.
I think if you only go for 300 and you get more than that, then it's a great day.
Yeah. But you're learning fast. Let me click it one more time. 984. It's not going anywhere. As soon as I said that, Eric puts his foot on the brake, and he's playing with us. You do know that, don't you?
Yeah.
He's dealing with us, and that's okay. Just keep sending those bills for the bandwidth there. No problem. Just keep pouring the money out. You do realize I'm like supporting this show, and I know, well, they're paying you a lot of money. Yeah, but what does that got to do with it? I think what I ought to do is, when I come back from vacation, is take one of those days I have off and sit down for a couple hours and figure out all the office supplies and all the fax machines and all this other stuff, and just expense it all.
Absolutely.
And there will be, what did you say?
Oh, I said that. Yeah.
Absolutely. There'd be a bunch of people and they'd be swooning in accounting. They'd be swooning. Although my paycheck did show up on Friday, it wasn't due until today. You see how I've got them trained thanks to Fat Ass Jolly Joe? Just don't give out my phone number again, Fat Ass Jolly Joe, please.
Neil God. Real American A-holes.
Real American A-holes.
We salute you, Mr. Public Restroom Toilet Tissue Dispensary Filler Guy.
Mr. Public Restroom Toilet Tissue Dispensary Filler Guy.
On the food chain of life, you are an amoeba. Even the cart return guy mocks you as you head to the supply room to stock up.
Gotta change the mix now.
While your peers acquired their job skills at the local community college, you learned everything you ever needed to know in that rancid turlet at the corner gas station.
Pull the trigger in your track now.
When you take your work home with you, it usually involves some sort of nasty rash. You don't get tipped, but there's a certain satisfaction to coming to the rescue of an IBS sufferer on Taco Day. So we salute you, Mr. Public Restroom Toilet Tissue Dispensary Filler Guy, your plunger, your lanyard, and your calluses. You are a real American a-hole.
Oh, but there are so many, man, in so little time. 12:31 at 560 WQM. Chris has got, and why do I keep giving you credit? You haven't got a damn thing to do with it. 995 vote.
Because you're so kind.
Because I'm just a hell of a good guy. That's it. And Brandon, meanwhile, I think you need to go back to work, Brandon, okay? Take a short vacation like I ended today. He sent me all these pictures of all these different kinds of food. He just sent me a picture of some macaroni and cheese, like a big vat of it.
Oh, my God.
That looked so creamy and
That's
so
like
dreamy and so screamy. Huh?
That's like sending kiddie porn to a pedophile.
Right. And then he sent me some French onion soup that looked really crappy. It had way too much bread, too many big croutons in it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Ah! I hate that. Our good friend Sherwood Ross, remember, was it last week or the week before?
Sherwood Schwartz?
Sherwood Ross. He sent that fax and thanked me for reading that article of his on the air. Don't you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Well, get with it. So now Sherwood sends me in the morning, early, before I get up. He sends me the articles before he sends them along to Smirking Chimp.
Sweet.
Uh-oh, news bulletin from Inside Radio just came on my BlackBerry here. What is it? Who is it merges? Wix and Marketron merge. Does that mean anything to anybody here? The rival traffic and billing software providers shake hands and combine under the Marketron Broadcast Solutions. Never heard of either one of them. I don't care. Get off of my BlackBerry and get out of my life. Inside Radio, my ass.
Oh, did you hear what Neil Rogers said? He said, my ass.
Yeah, that's why I said my ass. My fat ass.
Rectum.
Not as fat as Jim DeFetus, though. See, you're making fun of all these fat people. You know, it's...
Nah. You're fat, you're ugly, you're going to die.
And you're going to die. That's bad. Now, we'll just be kind to you and say that... See, George is just doing a little psychology, you know?
That's right. You understand,
because you know. Make fun of somebody that's fat, then you're going to embarrass them into... And, of course, it works in reverse because then you become frustrated and then you go and eat a lot more.
Look, I've been through it all before. If you're stressed out, you eat. If you're not stressed out, you eat. If you're bored, you eat. And if you're busy, you eat.
Right.
I know all about it.
And
how many fat people do you have to bury before you know the pattern already?
About 30, man.
Jim DeFetus. And then there are others. I don't want to mention... Well, I'll tell you, he looked awfully plump on the Belmont telecast on ESPN Saturday. I watched... Let me say it again in case you tuned in late. One of the great races I've ever seen in my life. Rags to riches, the filly on the outside. Edges out there, heavily favored Curlin. And don't give me that crap about the 5 pounds, okay? If it was another colt that won because he had a 5-pound allowance, that would have been one thing, but he wouldn't have had it. Don't give me that crap. Now, why is this thing buzzing and ringing all this crap? TomPayne.com. Go away, okay? I don't want this thing buzzing today. There's not going to be anything on there that I want to hear, unless, of course, it's from Jolly Joe Bell saying, oh, I'm so sorry I gave your number out to Kim Bokamper, and he go, ho, 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 like that, which I don't want to hear that either. Just quit giving it out, okay? Quit acting like you're the manager of my phone number and like he's the great mediator, you know? I mean, what do I have to do with Bokamper? Well, what do I have to do with him?
I don't know.
Am I ever going to see him again?
If you got to know him better, you'd find you had things in common.
I don't have anything in common with him.
As far as
Nothing.
You know, maybe.
I never wore a jockstrap except in high school gym class. I never took showers naked with guys.
But you want
except in high school gym class. What? I would like to, yeah. Would I like to take a shower with Brady Quinn? You bet.
See?
What? See what?
You and Kim could both go shower with Brady Quinn.
I think Kimba is showering with Ethan Skolnick, if you ask me. He sure spends a lot of time in his bathroom, I'll tell you that. Sherwood Ross, Bush preventative war doctrine, a glaring failure in the Middle East. Isn't it a shame that I interrupt all these other good conversations with these ponderous articles? But it's by Sherwood Ross, our good friend, so you know it's going to be good. He writes some good crap. Now, there's more food. Brandon, if you don't stop sending me pictures of food. Now,
a lot of people think it's funny, you know.
This is not my friend. I thought I had a good friend on here. You know what it is? It's a gigantic banana split. In your life, you've never, even at in Dania, the ice cream joint.
Jackson's. Sorry, drink of water.
Yeah. Even in Jackson's, you've never seen a concoction this big.
What word did you say?
Oh, man. 1,008 votes, by the way. You got it, Chris.
Yeah, baby.
Speaking of fat people, you got it. Now, can I read this thing without looking at these pictures of food?
No.
That's evil, man. That's really evil. And here I'm getting ready to go on vacation. What I need to do is lose about 4 pounds this week before I go. And you want to know what they have on the Dam Rack in Amsterdam that's really sinful, especially in the middle of June?
Ice cream?
Ben & Jerry's. Yaman. It's Jamin, which in Dutch, they don't pronounce the J. It's
Yaman.
Yaman. It's a candy store, but in the front part, they've got a Ben & Jerry's. A scoop thing, you know. And I will confess, on a hot day, I mean, what could be possibly better than a hot fudge sundae on like some good Ben & Jerry's pralines and cream, or a heavenly hash? Oh. Or fish food?
You didn't say berries and cream, did you?
No, I did not. Berries and cream?
Berries and cream!
Where the hell did that come from?
Oh, I just pulled it out of my butt.
Oh, did you really?
I got berries and cream in there.
Yeah. Probably dingleberries and cream.
You know it.
Sherwood Ross, right? I'm drowning in a sea of food. See, I'm trying to do my best, okay? Didn't have a bad weekend. I didn't eat anything really grotesque over the weekend. Didn't have, like, no big tub of ice cream, nothing like that. Anyway, Sherwood Ross says, comics have said everything George Bush knows about foreign policy he learned at the International House of Pancakes. That's not quite true. Somewhere he internalized the motto of heavyweight boxer Tony Galento, Trop foist. Just as Galento took an awful drubbing from heavyweight champ Joe Louis, Mr. Bush clings dazedly to the ropes in Iraq. His surge is only intensifying the slaughter. and his latest stumbling response has been to anoint a new chairman of the Joint Chiefs to replace General Peter Pace, who reportedly opposed the idea of using nuclear weapons against Iran. Recall preventive war is the heart of the Bush doctrine. It was Mr. Bush, after all, who told the world that he reserved for America the prerogative of striking first, just like Tony Galento, Tro Foist. That doctrine, writes international relations expert Andrew J. Basevich, or is it Basevich, in The New American Militarism, represents the clearest articulation to date of the preventive war philosophy. Basevich, a graduate of West Point and Vietnam veteran, notes preventive war is designed not to warn or wound, it is to kill quickly and efficiently, and the only acceptable standard of performance is a first-round knockout. By that reckoning, the Iraq War is an epic failure. The U.S. military machine, which defeated Saddam Hussein's Republican Guard in a major tank battle in the Gulf War, has ground to a halt in the streets of Baghdad, much as Hitler's panzers designed for lightning war on the prairies of Europe were immobilized in the rubble of Stalingrad. However one evaluates his accomplishments as war president, the fact remains that Bush succeeded to his office, possessing only the most rudimentary grasp of the military arts and sciences, Basevich points out. Although determined to finish off Hussein at the first opportunity, Bush did not bring with him a comprehensive, ready-made conception for how to deal with the incongruities that plague U.S. policy in the greater Middle East, writes Basevich, director of the Boston University Center for International Relations. Even before Bush took office, though, the U.S. was moving toward the Bush doctrine thanks to President Reagan, who refashioned American attitudes about military power and began reorienting the Pentagon on the Islamic world, Basevich writes. President Bush pulled the trigger, but Reagan first cocked the weapon, he opines. The author says Reagan laid the groundwork.
What word did you say?
You heard it. I was just waiting for that. In 1983, Reagan upgraded the Persian Gulf Intervention Force to status of a full-fledged regional headquarters to become the chief instrument for U.S. policy, diplomatic as well as military, throughout the Persian Gulf and Central Asia. Reagan accelerated the conversion of tiny British-owned Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean from a minor U.S. communications facility into a major forward support base. Reagan positioned large stocks of supplies and equipment on preloaded ships to facilitate rapid transit of U.S. combat forces to the Persian Gulf. As early as 1990, the U.S. had 25 vessels in this afloat prepositioning force. Reagan got overflight rights and agreement to permit U.S. military access to airports in Morocco, Egypt, and elsewhere in the region to support introduction of major American forces. Reagan redoubled U.S. efforts to cultivate client states throughout arms sales and training programs, Basevich writes, the latter administered by either the U.S. military or U.S.-backed private contractors, employing large numbers of former U.S. military personnel. In short, by the time Reagan departed office, the skids had been greased. The national security bureaucracy was well on its way to embracing a highly militarized conception of how to deal with the challenges posed by the Middle East. Reagan's seemingly slapdash Islamic pudding turned out, after all, to have a theme, says Basevich. Whether considering the first President Bush's 92 incursion into Somalia, President Clinton's 99 war for Kosovo, or President Bush's 2003 crusade to overthrow Hussein, the growing U.S. predilection for military intervention in recent years has so mangled the concept of common defense, outlined in the preamble of the U.S. Constitution, as to make it all but unrecognizable, Basevich asserts. Congress has failed egregiously, he writes, to assume its responsibility of deciding whether or when the nation should intervene abroad, hiding behind the skirts of such phrases as support our commander-in-chief and support the troops, hiding behind those skirts. Basevich calls on the U.S. to view the use of force only as a last resort and to renounce the Bush doctrine of preventive war, which arrogates to the U.S. prerogatives allowed no other nation and in the long run can only make Americans less secure. He calls on the U.S. to draw down its overseas garrisons and begin treating U.S. allies as partners rather than vassals. The author recalls America's first president, George Washington, warned against those overgrown military establishments which under any form of government are inauspicious to liberty and which are to be regarded as especially hostile to Republican liberty. If the U.S. continues to exercise its military dominance upon the world, it will share the fate of all those who in ages past have looked to war and military power to fulfill their destiny, Basevich warns. We'll rob future generations of their rightful inheritance. We will wreak havoc abroad. We'll endanger our security at home. We will risk the forfeiture of all that we prize. Anybody in Congress listening, question mark? Writes Sherwood Ross. No relation, by the way, to Spencer Ross.
This is Mohammed David with an important message for men over 180. If you see strange things floating in your eyes or occasionally see the shadow people, well then, you may be suffering from a macaroni degeneration. The first signs of macaroni degeneration, little white, noodly-looking lines on your nose.
Those ain't noodles, those are maggots.
Who you calling a faggot?
I said maggot, not maggot. You need your hearing checked.
Huh?
What do you know about men's health?
Now see here, the health of sport holes is important. In case management has an encounter with other sport holes, well, then they're assured of them being in the pink, so to speak. and more exciting in the bedroom.
That must be the reason why they run so many men's health spots.
Why, sure. So they can see other men better here. That's why I'm telling them about the macaroni degeneration. It's macaroni degeneration coming at you, going strong.
That's macular degeneration!
Watch it, chum. Yeah, I don't like no mysterious word. Now put yourself behind some glasses. We got a lot to see? When you go driving on the street.
1247, the macaroni degeneration. I'm suffering from it myself right now. Enough with the food. Everybody, stop with the food already. Everybody's a food pusher today. It's one thing to be a pisher. It's another thing to be a pusher.
What does that mean?
Did you hear the word he said?
Yeah, exactly.
Could you explain it to us?
Yeah.
I might want to use it in a sentence someday.
Carlos Stranger, right? Now, what kind of a name is that for a guy that writes in Israel? He's
Stranger?
Yeah, he's a stranger. Stranger. I guess you could pronounce that stranger. Carlos Stranger. He's professor of psychology at Tel Aviv University.
Oi!
Sounds like a goy to me, but nevertheless. Why Israel does not engage with the Saudi initiative. One of the most puzzling aspects of Israeli policy over the last 5 years is that neither the Sharon nor the Olmert governments have given the Saudi peace initiative any serious consideration. For most of its existence, Israel could only dream of an offer that explicitly includes peace, recognition of Israel's right to exist, and normalization of its relationship with the Arab world. Why, then, is Prime Minister Ehud Olmert offering nothing but lip service to the Saudi initiative, and why did former Prime Minister Ariel Sharon never even indicate that he took it seriously at all? And speaking of Ariel Sharon, by the way, heard anything about him lately?
No, I won't see him no more.
Don't hear a word about him, not even at least Terry and her. We used to hear about that a little bit. Anyway, it goes on to say there are good reasons to believe that the Saudi initiative ratified by the Arab State League stems from solid and tangible interest on the Arab side. The Saudis and other regimes in the area are afraid that the Middle East could disintegrate into chaotic disarray if the tide of sectarianism and the surge of Islamic movements are not hemmed in. Let me just interject this, okay? You know, if they didn't have oil in the Middle East,
yeah,
you know what our attitude would be about that whole region? Chum and Dreard.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is one of the most powerful destabilizing factors in the area, and they have good reasons to think that it fuels Islamic extremism. The Arab world has come to a point where it's joining the international legitimizing of Israel provided by the 1947 UN resolution that endorsed the partition plan because it no longer believes that it's in its interest to reject Israel's existence. Why, then, does Israel not engage with the Saudi peace initiative? This initiative, like any Arab proposal that will ever come up, demands a just solution of the refugee problem. The deep-seated fear in Israel is that the Arab insistence on a solution for the Palestinian refugee problem is ultimately a ploy to wipe Israel as a Jewish state off the map, not through military means, but through demographic means, by flooding Israel with millions of Palestinians. But there are models for the resolution of the problem. In private conversations, influential Palestinians often say that for them, an acceptance of the Palestinian right of return is far more about Israel accepting moral responsibility for the Nakba, literally catastrophe, the Palestinian term for Israel's establishment and subsequent refugee crisis, than it is about the physical return of Palestinians to their homes within the 1967 borders. Here, I believe, resides the deepest reason for Israel's reluctance to actively engage with the Saudi initiative. Israeli public discourse and national consciousness have never come to terms with the idea, accepted by historians of all venues today, that Israel actively drove 750,000 Palestinians from their homes in 1947 and 8, and hence has at least partial responsibility for the Palestinian Nakba. This has not happened to this very day because this idea is seen as undermining the foundation of the Zionist enterprise and the legitimacy of Israel's existence. It is as if we were locked in an insoluble dilemma. Either we deny responsibility for the Nakba, or we need to accept that we have no right to be here. This is the source of the deep fear that prevents Israel from meeting the Arab world face to face and saying, we are here and we believe that you accept our existence. Since Israel has not come to terms with its part and its historical responsibility for the Palestinian Nakba, it cannot truly believe that Arabs could accept our presence in the Middle East. We're locked into vacillation between self-images of either all good or all bad, and hence continue the occupation of the territories with all the horrors it includes, because the idea of Israel being guilty of anything is still equated with the denial of our right to be here. The only way out of this deadlock is to raise the question of how Israel can live with its responsibility for the Nakba into public discourse. The dilemma of either we are morally impeccable or we have no right to be here needs to be replaced with a narrative that accepts Israel's moral, historical, and political reality as as complex and multi-layered as that of most nations. In the best of all possible worlds, an Israeli statesman, a rare commodity in an age of mere politicians, would arise and tell the Palestinians, Israel came into existence in tragic circumstances that inflicted great suffering and injustice on your people. We accept responsibility for our part in this tragedy, even though we can't fully rectify it. Let's sit together and see how we can end the vicious cycle of violence and suffering and live side by side. Or as Frank Saliv would say, live side by each. This is not likely to happen in the immediate future. A Jewish Israeli politician who would say such a thing would become unelectable. Hence, it's up to the citizenry to bring this issue into public consciousness. Otherwise, Israeli policies will continue to be devoid of any creativity and political horizon and will miss historic opportunities that may not return. Writes Carlo Stranger, a professor of psychology at Tel Aviv University. He's a stranger. Now, how come I never got that?
Better. I don't know. I don't think I still have it in a handy way.
You don't still have it?
No, I mean, I
You're
have
a
it.
stranger?
It's not handy. Of course I have it somewhere. I just don't have it.
Jesus, God Almighty. You get some really good stuff, you know, like those Godfather drops that I think are new since you were last with us.
You're a stranger.
There you go. All those Tessio drops.
Tom, can you get me off the hook? For old time's sake.
Can't do it, Sally.
And then again.
Tell Mike it was only business. I always liked him.
And then...
It screws up all my arrangements.
Those. Pretty soon we'll have the whole dialogue from The Godfather just in like little bits and pieces. Won't that be exciting? And then one day in the summertime when it's really like a little slow, you can just play the whole thing.
I will.
Here's the dialogue from The Godfather. And, of course, that's from the 18-hour unedited version with all the good stuff in there. I think I'm going to go back and look at that picture of the banana split again, and that should satisfy me for the whole day. Shouldn't it?
It should.
But it won't. It'll only make me ravenous. Ravenous or grivenous? Oh, here's the Sopranos thing, finally.
Don't worry, we're not going to tell you exactly how it ended, but we can
tell you how it ended because it didn't.
Yeah, it ended so abruptly that viewers across the U.S. were left wondering whether their cable or satellite systems had just blinked out as the screen cut to black.
That's right, a lot very unhappy. In fact, the ending elicited so much reaction, it temporarily crashed the HBO website.
Good.
And we should point out
crushed
that
their ass,
HBO,
man.
which airs the series, is a sister company of CNN.
Well, screw it. See, that figures, doesn't it? If it's evil, it has to do with CNN. Make no mistake about it. I'm telling you right now, they're off my list.
The media is sick and needs help badly.
You tell them, honey. 1038 on your poll, Chris. 1038. If I was stupid, I'd read the result again, but then that would be a big tune-out because it's ponderous. I'm not picking on Charlie B again. It's just ponderous. I think it's time for one of our ethnic polls again.
Okay.
Although that's probably not a good idea to do it now because everybody's on vacation. But nevertheless, that makes it for kind of a challenge. See how many people we still have out there? 200-300. The only thing you need to know about this poll, when Fidel finally dies, I'm not Cuban, couldn't care less, 705, 68%. And I am Cuban and couldn't care less, 61, another 5.8%. So like 73% couldn't give a flying crap. And the people that are all immersed in that and wound up in a way, they're not listening to us anyway. They're not on our website. They're busy with Radio Mambi and the same to hell with Fidel Comunista, same old tired crap. The same repetitive chazarai that has plagued South Florida for 150 years. Or at least 47 anyway. Am I right?
Right.
Same old, man. And of course, men 18 plus, those stations, they do great. It's mostly men 65 plus. Old cockers, man, who are down there in Domino Park doing their Yenta routine about the same old tired stuff. I guess there's no more parades and parties going on, huh? Now these are kind of waddling around a little bit.
I reckon not.
Well, a little premature evaluation if you ask me. 12:56 at 560 WQM. Mad Dog, we're back to our kind of a regular schedule today. For a few days anyway. Then George will be on Thursday at 1 o'clock and then Friday and then all next week. Now, you're going to be taking a lot of calls, I'm sure of that.
You bet.
Good. Yeah, I do bet. I had a nice morning again at Woodbine on Saturday. Aren't you pleased? Aren't you proud?
Good.
2,000 on the line popped up there, baby. I don't want to go into a whole gambling thing because it's really ponderous and boring, although the audience does take notes occasionally. I was up $800, and then it took every dime back, the same machine. And I was getting ready to leave it. I thought, well, this thing just died, and bada boom, $2,000 on the line, man. That's a nice sight, 2,000 on the line.
Yeah.
And when I was playing out my credits, here's another 300 more on the line. And I grabbed those tickets and I ran. I didn't waddle out of there. I didn't walk out. I ran out before they could take it back. When in doubt, run the hell out.
Up to 2 hours!
Oh! Bad boy Cindy, Cindy bad
smile. They won't know till it hits home or there. Simply that go home, relax, girl, why even
Oh, there is no God, and here's proof.
Just the anxiety, the emotion, the anticipation. We're sitting
Blah,
in the
blah,
back.
blah, blah, blah. Go check on that guy's condition, Rick. See if he's still dead. Ricky Ticky Sanchez on CNN. And on the other side of the screen was that bitch. What's her name again? The one I hate like poison? I can't think of her name. I have a brain fart on her name. I can't stand her. Oh, God. And Ricky Ticky Sanchez. Blah, 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 like Bela Lugosi in drag. Kira Phillips, excuse me.
Hey, if Tracy Narlands is listening, I got your package. It was open. There were 2 stickers in here. I hope there was more than that. It was completely open, just wide open.
2 stickers with what?
Bumper stickers. One says, your father never trusted Hyman Roth. It's a bumper sticker. It's going on my cabinet. And the other one says, R.I.P. Mo Green, and it's got a pair of glasses with a bullet hole in one lens.
Huh.
Both very cute. I'm going to put them right up.
But somebody opened the package?
The package is like wide open, and then the stickers were hanging out.
I'm Mo Green.
Yeah, great. Hey, Mo, got some.
Who knows how many cool stickers were in here, or what else might have been in here that somebody stole?
You suggesting inside the building, or like outside
who knows?
the post office, or somewhere in transit between wherever Tracy said?
The envelope is all beat to crap, so it was probably the postal guys.
Yeah, you postal guys with the light fingers, man. Oh, there's look at this nice pastrami sandwich with some beautiful dill pickles on the side. Mmm. Getting flooded with food. I should take off right now. I'll guarantee you 2:06 I'll be at the counter at Taco Bell. Guaranteed. Chris has got 1,057 votes. We're going for 1,100 today. First of all, it's a really crappy poll. I mean, there's only one answer there that most people, either you're not Cuban or you are Cuban and you couldn't care less. You're not whipped up to a frenzy about Fidel, okay? Who cares? He's going to die. Someday he'll die, just like all the rest of us. Someday he'll croak. See, this kid, he was 17. The girl was 15. There was oral sex going on. They both say it was consensual, but in Georgia it's a crime. And they had him in there he served 27 months in a slammer for oral sex act with a 15-year-old girl. And he's 17. It's not like he's 40 and she's 15. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Zion America, baby. Living in the dark ages, in the Stone Age, in Georgia. I think of places, we did that poll one time, what would be the state you'd least want to live in? The Dakotas, of course, did really well, and Utah and Wyoming. Georgia, baby. Georgia on my mind. And, of course, Kansas, where evolution doesn't happen. Obviously, evolution never has taken place in Kansas. Maybe someday. From Key West to Jupiter, South Floridians are more likely than other Florida voters to feel sucked by high living costs, more mistrustful of local government, and more trapped by a distorted property tax system that they're more willing to reform, even if it costs them, a new poll shows. Every day we got a new poll. And Charlie B. doesn't even do these other polls. The sense of instability has led half of South Floridians, compared with 37% statewide, to recently consider moving elsewhere, according to a Zogby International poll conducted for the Herald and Channel 4 in association with the Palm Beach Post and Channel 12. Do you understand that?
Nope.
The Herald, Channel 4, the Post, Channel 12, all of these
things.
Whatever that means. The new poll of 801 likely Florida voters will give some ammunition to state lawmakers. In the 11-day session to reform property taxes, starting tomorrow, they'll consider tax rate rollbacks, caps, and exemptions worth an estimated $31.6 billion over 5 years to local governments. But voters who would have to approve at least half of the cuts in January also have nuanced views on property taxes. Many voters don't appear to be in the state of crisis suggested by state legislators and Governor Charlie Crist. Rhymes with limp wrist. Also, voters aren't clear on how much sky-high housing costs price them out of the market, or if the quirks on the tax could imprison them in their own houses. And by the way, the reason I made those comments about you, O.J., is because, let me say it again, in my opinion, you don't belong on the air. You're not a broadcaster today. You weren't one last week. You weren't one 6 weeks ago, Shavuos. And 7 years from next Tisha B'Av, you're still not going to be a broadcaster, okay? You're a pretty good ball player. That's it. Did I make my point or what?
No, I didn't understand. Could you go over it again?
No. The expansion of taxable gambling was the most popular choice among voters who were asked how they prefer to offset the cost of tax cuts. Taxable gambling. Next, voters said they'd like to increase property tax exemptions. And lastly, they'd prefer to offset cuts by swapping homeowner taxes for a sales tax increase. Christ in the anti-gambling GOP legislature won't countenance gambling. Rejected the sales tax swap this spring and settled on a plan for rollbacks, caps, and the supersizing of homestead exemptions. Floridians, by a vote of 54 to 39%, said they would oppose cutting taxes if they knew it meant reducing local government services. But by a 52 to 43 spread, they don't believe such reductions would happen. Despite the claims of city and county governments, many of which taxed and spent heavily in the now-ended real estate boom. And it goes on. It's a bunch of... It's on our website. It's in the Herald. And, of course, if it's in the Herald, it might be true, you know? There might be some more pictures of food on here I missed. I'm sure there are. Oh, yeah, it's a big... What is that? Is it like a chocolate milkshake, something like that, a soda?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's like or New York egg cream, something like that. I don't know what that stuff is. Is that good? I never had one of those.
An egg cream? Yeah. I'm surprised because they're from up there.
Let me say it again. I never had one in my life.
I'm still surprised.
Why?
Because it's an old-timer thing from the northeast New York area, like you.
I'm not from the New York area, okay?
Well, no, but you're New York State.
Oh, my God. New York City and New York State are like mixing apples with palmetto bugs. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, New York is New York.
Owner Mark Cuban, former President Jimmy Carter, the editorial board of the New York Times.
You know something? It looks like they stuck in his rectum, and he's on helium or something. Ricky Tikki Sanchez. He's just out of control. Blah, 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 like that. God, do I despise him. Yeah, it's a New York egg cream is what it is. And let me say it again. In New York City, for example, you know what they call...
No, I don't.
Coca-Cola, for example, or like an orange drink?
Pop.
Soda.
Yeah, that's what they call it here.
You know what we call it in upstate New York and here? Pop. That is correct.
Sure, in Montana,
Pop.
too. Pop.
Goes the weasel. To try to compare Rochester with New York City, it's ridiculous. You don't know your upstate New York stuff, mister.
No, I don't, but I know that
everybody makes the same mistake. Oh, well, you're from New York. I'm not from New York. I'm from Rochester, New York, okay? And believe me, I'm not proud of it.
Listen, egg creams are an old-time northeastern
We didn't know from no egg creams in Rochester, okay?
I bet you they did.
And how about White Hots? We had White Hots in Rochester. Do you think they had White Hots in New York, in New York City?
They probably didn't tell you because you were a Jew.
They would probably mug your ass in New York back in those days if you went down there looking for a white hot. They'd say, I got something white hot for you. It's my foot right up your old shoot, baby. Ass. Get out of here. Everybody does the same thing. Oh, well, New York is, New York State.
Do any such thing.
How about buffalo wings? You think buffalo wings are big in New York City?
I have no idea.
I doubt it. How about grinders? Sub sandwiches and grinders. Every region has got its own thing. Like Boston had their grinders.
Sure.
Yeah. I never had an egg cream. And I don't want one. It didn't even. You know what? It looks like crap. It looks like watery chocolate milk with a bunch of.
It's not unlike it's like a chocolate custard milk thing.
What?
With vanilla in it. I don't know what's in there.
Chocolate custard milk.
Somebody will send you a recipe or something.
I don't want no recipe. I'm seeing a picture of it here. It looks like caca, man. It looks halushes, as the Chinese say. It looks halushes. That's right. New York egg cream, my ass. Now, if I want to go back to the picture of that banana split, though, on the other hand, I would say, If I were you, I'd head for Jackson's in Dania right after work. I'd just go in here and say, just take a bucket.
Everything in there is good.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. Just take a bucket and fill it up with all your great concoctions. Hot fudge and butterscotch and caramel and just about 25 scoops of ice cream. Just put it in a bucket.
And
eat it. And pour like about a whole can of Ready Whip on top. And then like a gallon of hot fudge on top of the whole thing. And put it like in a bathtub and just hop into it. See, there are those people who don't really care about food. Those people I hate them, number one, and number two, I find them very boring. Can we all agree that food is one of the most meaningful parts of life? Can we all agree on that?
Absolutely.
Chris?
Yes.
Chris has been very quiet. You know what? I've been describing all of these foods I'm giving these pictures of from my close personal friend Brandon, who's not even in the will, and he's trying to get me to croak today. I don't get that. I can understand you doing it,
Right.
Because you need the money now.
right now.
Maybe Josh will only a little bit of his.
Working with both of you.
You God.
Well, I've known my sister all my life. That is why she's now my wife. And I think my son may know it's true. He's my nephew too. Well, my daddy is my Uncle Joe. My mother is my dear Aunt Flo. It is very plain to see my first cousin is me. Oh!
116 at 560 WQAM. The Bush administration cannot legally detain a U.S. resident it believes is an al-Qaeda sleeper agent without charging him, a divided federal appeals court ruled today. The court said sanctioning the indefinite detention of civilians would have disastrous consequences for the Constitution and the country. In the 2-1 decision, the 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals panel found that the Federal Military Commissions Act doesn't strip Ali al-Mahri, a legal U.S. resident, of his constitutional rights to challenge his accusers in court. It ruled the government must allow him to be released from military detention. Al-Mahri has been held in solitary confinement in a Navy brig in Charleston, South Carolina, since June of 2003. Now, are we going to pronounce that gutter, or is it Qatar? How do we say that? Q-A-T-A-R?
I don't care. I think they say gutter.
The Gutter religion native has been detained since his December 2001 arrest at his home in Peoria, Illinois, where he moved with his wife and 5 children the day before 9/11 terrorist attacks to study for a master's degree. To sanction such presidential authority to order the military to seize and indefinitely detain civilians, even if the president calls them enemy combatants, would have disastrous consequences for the Constitution and the country, the court panel said. Thank God. Now here's another MySpace thing. It says, speaking of Ben & Jerry's, they sell in their scoop shops and on their website jars of hot fudge, which are unbelievable. This is just what I need before going on vacation, isn't it? I'm being bombarded on all sides. And then I got over here a picture of a gourmet macaroni and cheese, it's like in one of those big crocs like the French onion soup, and crisp on top, brown on top. Oh, man. I just want to jump into that computer, man. Jump right on the monitor. And manja. Also, it says here, I finally checked out the Breyer section of the freezer in Publix and saw they have Heath Bar ice cream as well as Snickers. Trust me, most of the ice cream with the candy bar flavors, they blow. Snickers, M&M, Oreo, it says they must have dozens of these. They suck, they blow. Heath Bar, I don't know, that might be okay. And, of course, like I already told you, Breyer's score, It says Breyer's, though, is not as dense as Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's. It's a much airier ice cream. It's light. It's kind of light, feathery, like Peter Pan. Light in the loafers, as somebody might say. You know who might say that?
All right.
Who might say that? Although when he says it, he just, it's in humor. He doesn't go on and on about guys who are like, hiding behind their dress or their skirt or are afraid to come face to face and say to his face what you said on the radio, you're hiding. Why did I accept his apology? I should have just hung up the phone, shouldn't I? And what would you have done? Not that I care.
Well, I'm not hiding in Toronto and wearing a skirt, so I probably would have accepted his apology.
No, you're hiding in Hollywood wearing a skirt.
Right.
You're skirting the issue.
You've seen how big that guy is, so
I know how big he is.
He's 7 feet tall
and weighs 600 pounds. 1,083 votes for it, Chris. You got 1,100 licked. You look at it. And if you saw these pictures of all this food, what is that thing here I got in my upper left-hand corner? It looks like a turd. Oh God, it looks like a turd in some kind of container. Jesus, what is this stuff? Oh, it's a Coney Island hot dog. Oh! See, that's another thing. Do you think in Rochester we had Coney Island hot dogs?
I wouldn't know.
Well, we did not. Of course we
didn't
have that. Just like they didn't have no white hots. They didn't have Texas hots in New York City either. In upstate New York, Texas hots were what you'd call red hots, traditional hot dogs, and white hots were white hots, like we used to get from Wayne Arnold all the time. Whatever happened to Wayne, by the way? Remember he called that one day and he said that they were making some progress and he was going to get back to me? And, of course, that was back in the days when I had the phone on all the time, was taking some calls. He's probably called 100 times. Oh, that was a chili dog. Oh, God. I believe the dog part. Looks like the dog had his way with that thing. And left a message. Like Joey Zaza. Now, let me get to some stuff I didn't get to on Friday, like Paul Krugman lies, size, and politics. Because I already read Paul Krugman's article from the Times today, so if I do this, oh, you already read Paul Krugman. Well, you know what? Too bad. Too bad. And you don't have to pay for it either. How do you like that? Another pubic service at no charge on the world-famous, legendary Neil Rogers show. Don't you think that's a pretty damn white of me?
Mighty white.
See there, mighty white. See that? It's another racial thing. See, I don't have any room in my life for people of any shape, color, size, description, who want to turn everything into like an ethnic or racial thing, you know, a religious thing. I have no room for that. In Tuesday's Republican presidential debate, Paul writes, Mitt Romney completely misrepresented how we ended up in Iraq. Later, Mike Huckabee mistakenly claimed it was Ronald Reagan's birthday. Guess which remark the Washington Post identified as the gaffe of the night? Folks, this is serious. If early campaign reporting is any guide, the bad media habits that helped install the worst president ever in the White House haven't changed a bit. You may not remember the presidential debate of October 3rd, 2000, or how it was covered, but you should. It was one of the worst moments in an election marked by news media failure, as serious in its way as the later failure to question Bush administration claims about Iraq. Throughout that debate, George W. Bush made blatantly misleading statements, including some outright lies. For example, when he declared of his tax cut that the vast majority of the help goes to the people at the bottom end of the economic ladder. That should have told us right then and there that this was not a man to be trusted. But few news reports pointed out the lie. Instead, many news analysts chose to critique the candidate's acting skills. Al Gore was declared the loser because he sighed and rolled his eyes, failing to conceal his justified disgust at Mr. Bush's dishonesty. And that's how Mr. Bush got within Chad and butterfly range of the presidency. Now fast forward to last Tuesday. Asked whether we should have invaded Iraq, Mr. Romney said that war could only have been avoided if Saddam had opened up his country to IAEA inspectors and they'd come in and they'd found that there were no weapons of mass destruction. He dismissed this as an unreasonable hypothetical. Except that Saddam did in fact allow inspectors in. Remember Hans Blix? Hans Blix? When those inspectors failed to find non-existent WMD, Mr. Bush ordered them out so he could invade. Mr. Romney's remark should have been the central story in news reports about Tuesday's debate, but it wasn't. There wasn't anything comparable to Mr. Romney's rewritten history in the Democratic debate 2 days earlier, which was altogether in a higher plane. Still, someone should have called Hillary Clinton on her declaration that on health care, we're all talking pretty much about the same things. While the other two leading candidates have come out with plans for universal or near-universal health coverage, Edwards and Obama, Mrs. Clinton has so far evaded the issue. But again, this went unmentioned in most reports. By the way, one reason I want health care specifics for Mrs. Clinton is that she's received large contributions from the pharmaceutical and insurance industries. Will that deter her from taking those industries on? Back to the debate coverage. As far as I can tell, no major news organization did any fact-checking of either debate. And post-debate analyses tend to be horse race stuff mingled with theater criticism, assessments not of what the candidate said, but of how they came across. Thus, most analysts declared Mrs. Clinton the winner in her debate because she did the best job of delivering sound bites, including her Bush talking point declaration that we're safer now than we were on 9/11, a claim her advisors later tried to explain away as not meaning what it seemed to mean. Similarly, many analysts gave the GOP debate to Rudy Giuliani, not because he made any sense, he didn't, but because he sounded tough saying things like, it's unthinkable that you leave Saddam Hussein in charge of Iraq and still be able to fight the war on terror. Why? Look, debates involving 10 people are inevitably short on extended discussion, but news organizations should fight the shallowness of the format by providing the facts, not embrace it by reporting on a presidential race as if it were a high school popularity contest. For if there's one thing I hope we've learned from the calamity of the last 6.5 years, is that it matters who becomes president, and that listening to what candidates say about substantive issues offers a much better way to judge potential presidents than superficial character judgments. Mr. Bush's tax lies, not his surface amiability, were the true guide of how he would govern. And I don't know how this country, if it can survive another 4 years of Bush-quality leadership, says Paul Krugman. Paul, you go, boy. 1,100 votes on the nose. Chris has done it today, baby. He has done in spite of all the food. We're drowning in a sea of food and pictures of food and aromas. Good thing that this thing doesn't... What's that? Oh, those are those neat little burgers. The little, like, crystal burgers, you know? Only they're White Castles.
Somebody's trying to kill you.
What?
Somebody's trying to kill you.
Yeah, Brandon. He's not even in the damn will.
Yeah! Ain't ready. What's up, y'all? This your boy D-Mike. You see, I usually do songs with, like, hooks and concepts and shit, right? But that, man, I'm trying to go platinum. So I'm about to rock this. Check this out, y'all. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O-O-K. 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 Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Yeah, not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O-O-K. 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 Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Body needs water, so drink that. Body needs water, so drink that. Your body needs water, so drink that. Your body needs water, so drink that. Buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Where deodorant, 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 where deodorant. Coffee stick, it's not expensive. It's coffee stick, it's not expensive. It's coffee stick, it's not expensive. It's coffee stick, it's not expensive. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O.
Okay, 133, 2702 at 560. Mad Dog from the Finns golf tourney at 2, and then the Humper on the Power Hour with the Mad Dog at 4. Humper solo at 5, and then after that, well, Dolphin stuff. Now, did you say that Kentucky Fried's got macaroni and cheese as a side?
Yes.
Yeah, and you didn't have any?
Mm-mm.
Have you ever had it? Did you ever
Sure,
eat
it's
it?
good, especially when you put some gravy in there, because I love their gravy. I put it on everything.
When you put gravy on macaroni and cheese?
Yeah, I don't slather it on, but just enough to wet my beak.
Oh!
You've
My
had the
God,
gravy,
talk
it's
about
great.
strictly for goyim.
Well, whatever.
Wow.
I pour it on everything they have. As a matter of fact, their mashed potatoes, ironically, is the only thing that I don't like. It's nasty, just like, I don't know, instant Hungry Jack mashed potatoes.
I can't be having no macaroni and cheese. The only place I can think of, other than the frozen, which, frozen can be okay, because then you can, like I said, you can nuke it longer than you're supposed to by like about a minute or 2 minutes, and then it's really crispy brown and like on top. Oh, man, is that good. But the only place I can think of is the cafeteria at Woodbine. And if you think I'm going to go there again today so I can give back what I won on Saturday, you'll be crazy, man. It was like last week, and Chris can bear me out on this. Every day, Josh Cordes is giving me, you should go every day. And you want to know why he wanted me to go every day?
So you'd die?
No. There was one day that I guess I didn't get home later. I didn't pay too much attention to the stories on the website. I sent him like 2 stories.
Wednesday.
Yeah, and he liked that. So I guess he figured if I would, that's right, that was Woodbine Wednesday. So he figured if I would go to Woodbine every day, I wouldn't send him a whole bunch of stories because he's lazy. He wants the check, but he's lazy. He is a good guy. Took a lot of crap last week, did he not?
Oh, definitely. Everybody hates him.
And everybody says he's going to go to Vegas with his buddies and get drunk and cheat on his Russian girlfriend, even though he was in total denial. Oh, not me.
That's what you said.
That's what everybody said. Everybody said. And George agreed with me, by the way.
I didn't say he'd cheat.
What'd you say?
He's going to screw around.
Oh, it ain't cheating if they don't find out.
Fair and square.
Well, that's the way to do it. Well, let's see. I'm reading this thing here. It says, most supermarkets with a hot case have in the deli section macaroni and cheese with a hot case. How about if I take in a briefcase and attack the hot case? Neil, how do you attack the buffet? Remember that? So many stupid people in so little time. It's so sad. Boy, I sure miss those calls. It's a good thing George is going to be on starting Thursday at 1 o'clock. I sure hope they have a big appetite for you. And, of course, you do a good job. Otherwise, those tapes, are always on standby.
No.
I should have asked fat-ass Jolly Joe when he called me on Friday to give me that song today. He is what he is, I guess he called to pacify me. He was like taking my temperature, with that thermometer.
Rectum.
Yeah, the rectal one.
By the way, in case you forgot.
Yes?
You told me so.
About him?
Yeah.
Why do you say that now?
Oh, because you always say it, so I thought I'd beat you to it.
Hey, guess what?
What?
Told you so. I told you about that one, okay? He's, jolly guy.
Mm-hmm.
Jolly and jovial, and gives my phone number out to somebody I don't really want to talk to, See, I mean, you can apologize to somebody for something like that and try to like, well, other people told me they heard it too. But
I apologize.
He didn't hear it himself. The person, O.J. the Juice McDuffie, who supposedly was slammed with this racial comment, he didn't hear it either. And to go on the air and like do an all-out attack on me and all this homophobic crap, and I'm up in Toronto hiding and I don't have the balls to say it to the man's face and be down there, anytime I would do the show there in that studio, I always walked on eggshells, like with Mo, for example, right? One thing about me, and because the guy is 6'8" and a former jock, what's he going to do? We're going to have a fist fight? Is that it? Is he going to stomp on some 64-year-old fag? Is that his idea of being a macho man?
No, I don't think he'd hit a woman.
No, there you go. Well,
I don't think. With glasses, anyway.
See, there you go. You're starting in. You're sticking your nose in where it don't belong. You weren't even aware of this, were you? Did anybody tell you about this?
No.
Until I told you about it this morning?
No.
Well, don't you find it just,
typical?
No, not just typical, but just almost unspeakable. It's I don't know.
I kind of find it funny in retrospect.
Do you?
Sure.
Why is that?
I'm sorry I missed it.
What's
sounded like good radio, good material. They love that stuff. Dirty laundry. They love that. The audience eats it up. Maybe we'll get a number this time.
Well, in that case, you dirty... Yeah. Fill it in. Make up some word and stick it in there. Oh, we all heard it. Robert Reaper, the Grim Reaper, Lord of the Board, he heard it. Of course, I know if I knew that my show was going off and I had become a grotesque failure, I probably would be taking out other people too. My show isn't going off, by the way, and we're doing pretty well. Against all odds. 11:57 on the poll. When Fidel finally dies, I'm not Cuban, couldn't care less. 753 votes, 65%. Couldn't care less. There's Lou Dobbs they just showed there on CNN. He cares. He's pretty pissed off about all you illegal aliens like George.
I have papers.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Rolling papers.
Yeah, your little dog did a number on him. I'll drink a Cuban... Oh, look at that. It moved into second place. I'll drink a Cuban cafecito or eat a Cuban sandwich, 85. I'm Cuban, couldn't care less, 63. You want to know why the Cuban sandwich moved up there? Because all the food talk. They're holishing from it, baby. They want some lunch and dinner and supper. I'll start packing for a visit to Cuba, 61. I'll be so grief-stricken. How will I ever go on, 44. I'll light a Cuban cigar, 44, a big fat one. I'll set a dumpster or some tires on fire, 28. Hell, I'll put my house up for sale and move to Cuba, 18. Bye-bye. Adios. I'll stop my car in the middle of a bridge, 14. I'll play a Celia Cruz CD, 13. I'll join a street procession and blow my horn constantly, 13. I'll fire a gun in the air, 11. I'll burn an effigy of Fidel, 6. And I'll fly the Cuban flag, still solamente cuatro, soltanto cuatro, only 4. Which is good. Quit flying that damn Cuban flag. It's a communist flag, if you ask me. We could have gone for 1,200 if I'd have known it. I didn't realize that. That would have been really something, you know?
Definitely.
On the 11th of Junio. I don't want to keep overemphasizing that the town is like when in doubt, thinned out. Everybody I know is on vacation, including me in a couple of days. George just came back from one. But if you can get to 12, man, then I'll tip my hat to you. In fact, what I'll do is I'll go in the other room and I'll get my cap, my baseball cap, and I'll tip it to you. And speaking of going in the other room, do you realize I'm dressed now like it was Woodbine Wednesday or something like that?
Got
Want to
big
know why?
plans?
Because at 2:05 I'll be at the counter at Taco Bell.
All right. See if they have chimichanga. I don't think they do. They don't have chimichangas there.
They don't?
I'd know.
Usually regular restaurants have those.
Like regular Mexican restaurant would have a chimichanga. Well, what's all that other crap they got there? And they've got those cinnamon things for dessert, don't they?
Don't eat those, yeah. They're poison.
Don't eat more than 20, 30 of those.
Oh, my God, your breasts are beautiful.
Hello, I'm Lindsay Lohan, the hottest chick in the world according to Maxim. But does that get you a free pass to snort coke, drive drunk, and crash your car? Apparently not. So I want to make this very special public service announcement. Don't go to the Promises Rehab Center. It doesn't work. And the Red Bull is served without vodka. And they make you share a room with someone who buys off the rack. It was horrible. What? Oh, right. Don't drive drunk and stuff? Okay, is that enough to get me out of jail time? Oh, my God, I so do not want to be Paris's cellmate.
1:45 at 5:60. We've gone through almost the whole show with like maybe 10 words about Paris, okay? Just 10 words of derision and astonishment. Because the media, the news media, you people are sicker than hell. Mm-hmm. And they'll come on and they'll decry, oh, my God, this is just terrible. This isn't really hard news, blah, blah. And then they'll go on for another half hour about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, there's a beautiful piece of pecan pie. Oh, my blood sugar just went up to 900. Is there anything you can think of, any food, richer? You know something? I think you're going to do 1,200 here, Chris. 1187. That's because I gave them the Pepsi Challenge, whatever that is.
That would be stupendous.
Do you know I have my shoes on now even? I've got the light on the wall. I have like two lamps in here that I keep on during the show. And like on Woodbine Wednesday, I've got, the whole routine. I turn off the light, I got my shoes on, my the whole pantaloons, my shirt, and I got that all on right now. Why?
I give up. Why?
Because I'm in a food frenzy. I'm in a feeding frenzy. Is there anything richer than pecan pie?
Not that I know.
1188. We need 12 votes in 14 minutes. It's not even 1 a minute. You're going to do it. Let me take a look again at that piece of pecan pie. Just a small slice. Can you even imagine eating like a gigantic slice of pecan pie? Even a pig like me. Even a glutton like me. 1190. You need 10 votes. You got 1,200 made today, baby. On the 11th de junio. Woo! That's going to make the front page of the Washington Post and the New York Times and Pravda, no doubt. Who? I'm sure they don't print Pravda no more. That's a Commie Pinko newspaper. And Grandma. That's right. Grandma. Now, it's a commie paper from Cuba, but is that newspaper like available in Dade County like at newsstands in Espanol?
You're asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you. You're the resident spick. You're supposed to know about these
where I live.
Things. You live in Hollywood. So,
right.
Are there any people who speak English in Hollywood now that my mother's dead? I don't think so.
Yeah. Lots.
Maybe a few Jews.
Right, them too.
A new report by the Council of Europe leaked last Thursday to the Guardian New York Times confirms a March 2007 Raw Story report identifying a secret CIA detention facility in northeastern Poland. The Council's report released Friday confirms authoritatively that secret black sites existed in both Romania and Poland. It identifies the location of the Polish facility as being in the same location identified by Raw Story. It's got the name of some joint, which I can't. It's a Polish thing. Like I'm going to try to read that? Of course not. There is now enough evidence to state that secret detention facilities run by the CIA did exist in Europe from 2003 to 2005, in particular in Poland and Romania, the Council's report says. The secret detention facilities in Europe were run directly and exclusively by the CIA, it says. While it's likely that very few people in the countries concerned, including the governments themselves, knew of the existence of the centers, we have sufficient grounds to declare that the highest state authorities were aware of the CIA's illegal activities on their territory. Illegal activities on their territories. I'm telling you, one of these days when Doug Thompson doesn't have a rant on Capitol Hill Blue anymore, I'm telling you right now, he's going to be off in Poland somewhere, in Potska Polska somewhere, in some detention camp. Nobody ever see him again. 1,200, we got it. How the hell did that happen? Boy, this crowd really came through big time. How did that happen, Chris?
Thank you, everybody. They were happy that George was back and not Josh.
Oh, there's a beautiful apple pie. Wow, and it's got like the strips of dough across the top. You know how they do that?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Like a picture-perfect
Like
apple pie. Now, with a nice slice of Kraft American cheese, or Borden's American cheese, as George would suggest.
Right.
And a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top. See, I will say this, as much as I detest plain vanilla ice cream, and I think it's strictly for people with no taste buds.
Yeah.
I will say this, it is good on things.
Right, on something or with something on it, like a lot.
There you go.
As a
like on apple pie.
Right, or a banana split.
Well, it's not on a banana. You have a banana split with vanilla ice cream?
Don't they put everything in there? Don't they put
not
like
if
a
you
scoop
don't
of
want
each?
it, they'll put whatever you want.
I think
See, the old-fashioned banana split would have one scoop of strawberry, one with vanilla, and one with chocolate.
Right.
Just like, what do they call a...
Neapolitan.
Very good. Boy, you knew exactly where I was going with that.
That's right. Strawberry ice cream doesn't taste like strawberry.
Strawberry, punky, and vanilla and chocolate. But anyway, if you get a banana split, you can tell them what you want. What I used to do back in my younger days when I was getting fat was get like 2 chocolates and 1 strawberry. Don't put the vanilla in my banana split. It's got just too much good stuff in there, man. Little chunks of pineapple and cherries and nuts and... Well, what are those nuts they put in there? Like chopped some kind of nuts.
Like walnuts, I think.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, it's a good thing I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
Although we do have Bastard Robbins now.
I love eating nuts.
We do have Bastard Robbins. And the Taco Bell that I'm going to be making a beeline to, guess what? It's right next to a 24-hour gigantic Dominion supermarket.
Great.
And so when I finish with my Taco Bell, which I'm not going to go crazy, not going to have more than like 4 or 5 burrito supremes with no beans, and maybe 6 or 7 tacos with a hard shell. I like mine hard. But at any rate, after that, I can go like into the supermarket and find me in the freezer compartment some of that Stouffer's macaroni and cheese, and come home and maybe have that for dessert, or maybe for dinner, for supper. That sound good? This is not a good deal, Although probably it's just as well. Oh, there's a big, beautiful slice of lemon chiffon pie. Oh, I haven't had that in about 100 years. My mother used to make that real good. Once upon a time, before she got to be 200, my mother was a pretty good cook. I got to admit that. Unlike your mother, who never was a good cook.
Right.
We got 1209 on the poll, by the way. Chris?
Thank you.
Excellent job by Chris. Let me just say this about anybody who sells our poll total short every day.
Good job by Chris.
There you go. Now, what I wanted was...
He doesn't know Chris.
That's it. Attaboy, Mo. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring Mo back to fill in on the morning show until they get a permanent replacement in there. I mean...
He's busy broadcasting poker.
Come on. He's not still doing that, is he?
Who knows?
That was just a gratuitous, cheap shot at my good, close personal friend. Not the Mo Man. F you and F the ground you walk on. That was quite a day. That was a classic day. And he said, sit down, sit down. I said, okay, you sit down too, Schmendrick. And we both sat down and we made our peace. You know how long that lasted? Less than 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Were you in there when he came in? Well, that beast, he comes up to me. He wants to make peace with me. If he
I was in there.
Like a child, like an overgrown child. And I thought to myself, boy, is this a putz. Is what I thought. And you know what else I thought? Yeah, that too. And so that was the end of that truce and the end of a wonderful, close relationship. Enough to make Mo flip his lid. 12:50, what is it? 1:53. Yeah, I've been doing that lately. I did that on Friday. I said it was 1:53, and I said 11:53, and everybody went, ah, like that. They got all panicky. Don't pay any attention to me. Nobody else does. Hey, Father's Day is coming up this Sunday, June 17. Make Dad really happy and take him to the Melting Pot for a fantastic, luscious dinner. The best melting pots are located at 5455 North Federal Highway in Boca and 1135 North Federal in Fort Lauderdale. Why those two? That's where you'll find the Neil deals. For Father's Day, bring the family of 4 or more, and Dad gets to eat free. Plus, on Sunday through Thursdays, you can get a full 4-course meal for just $59. Either way, when you go in, just be sure and ask for the Neil deal. Start with the Melting Pot's famous cheese fondue. Move on to entrees like filet mignon and duck and shrimp and chicken, so many more. Cooked in oil or broth, whichever you like better. And their dipping sauces, absolutely out of this world. Add the chocolate fondue for dessert, and you got a fondue feast fit for a king, a queen, a prince, or a princess. Make your reservations now. In Fort Lauderdale, call 954-568-1518. 568-1518. And in Boca, call 561-997-7472. 997-7472 in Boca. Be it Father's Day or just any day, Sunday through Thursday, be sure and ask for the Neil deal only at the Melting Pots in Boca and Fort Lauderdale.
You're listening to Neil Rogers exclusively on 560 QAM.
For some 30 years now.
About 30, man.
Neil Rogers has been giving it to you good.
Are you sure?
And now it's time for you to get the rewards. Starting Thursday, it's Neil's half-price deals. This week, you can buy a $50 gift certificate for only $25 to the fabulous Karma restaurant in Coral Gables. Dining at Karma is like taking a sensual trip through the cuisines of Asia. Replicated from China's Forbidden City with 30-foot Asian symbols and a 1,000-pound Buddha keeping a watchful eye as you dine with traditional dishes like orange sesame chicken, champagne kimchi New York strip, charred rare tuna, and Thai crispy red snapper. And now, thanks to Neil Rogers, you can buy $50 gift certificates half price for $25. It's Neil's way of saying thanks to you for being Neilies. The store opens at WQAM.com Thursday, around 12 noon. But you'll need to act fast, because when they're gone, they're just gone.
Okay.
Neil's half-price deals, only available at WQAM.com.
Hey, Marlins fans, Freddie Gonzalez here. As the new manager in town, I can tell you the real deal is at Brickell Motors. What a team.
Brickell has been so successful with this promotion that they've ordered an extra 100 Hondas and over an extra 100 Buicks, Pontiacs, and GMCs to continue this free gas giveaway until they run out. Hurry in and get free gas up to 3 years. This means almost $4,000 of free gas on new Accords and Civics, over $4,500 in new gas on new Pontiac G6s, and almost $7,000 in free gas on every Yukon.
Brickell Motors, Southwest 8th Street and 7th Avenue in Miami.
Big O here for the finest beer in the business, Presidente imported beer. And listen, for years, I've been telling you about my favorite beer, Presidente, the finest beer in the business. Well, now I want to talk to you about the best light beer in the business, Presidente Light. The tradition continues. Presidente Light is a smooth-tasting beer with lots of character. It's the way light beer should taste. Smooth, bold, and with the character you've come to expect from Presidente. Let's face it, folks, the beer industry, it's full of watered-down light beers, but Presidente Light is a full-body light beer. So on your way home today, stop by the supermarket and treat your friends, family, and how about yourself to the finest light beer in the business, Presidente Light, the full-body light beer. What an amazing combination. The choice is yours, Presidente and Presidente Light. It's the Big O's choice. It's the best choice. Presidente or Presidente Light.
Mercedes-Benz on having your cake and eating it too.
Or how to enjoy the efficiency of a diesel without sacrificing power. Introducing CDI technology. Every Mercedes-Benz CDI engine employs fuel-efficient diesel engineering that incorporates a common rail direct injection system. This, combined with a turbocharger that boosts torque, ensures every CDI diesel engine delivers both fuel efficiency and impressive power. So now you can have your cake and eat it too. Just don't drive, have cake, and eat it too. That would be dangerous. See your authorized dealer to test drive the powerful 2007 ML320 CDI, starting at $44,455. Just one of the Mercedes-Benz family of CDI diesel SUVs. Mercedes-Benz, unlike any other.
The CDI SUVs do not meet emissions requirements in California.
Joyce is out to get us.
Absolutely.
Wants to rape and destroy our show. Joyce is a fake attorney who don't know nothing about radio. Joyce won't let me. Joyce won't let me. Joyce won't let me. Play any parts. Joyce went to Jiffy Lube Law School. Uninformed, stupid hag, fraudulent turn. Juliet is wrong by hidden foods that obey their small laws every word. Joyce won't let me. Joyce won't let me. Joyce won't let me.
I don't want to hear any more side bitches talk about me. Anybody else but I got her at the
more parts. You know we can't play no farce. No farce.